Gangster. 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 Gangster.
Big Gucci frames, I see it all except the price tag. Make them laugh, cry and think was the lesson straight from my dad. Had less hot dinners than I filled A4 line pads. You start coming out in hives when Ma take your iPad. I'll be right back. Off for bread, flour, milk to leave the top half loose to cry when it spills. I'm Brian Mills with my specific set of skills. Bare your teeth and lick your wounds, you can eat what you kill. 21 guns jam, so it's a bayonet, seppuku, stomach clumps, guts looking like lumps of udon noodles. Got my strength back, hossing 5Ks and bumping Lulu, fuck your hood. I went to the station, they all knew you and said you polite. Ahead of my time, I ain't entered my prime, but you better listen this time when I remind you that penance is nigh. Ascend to the sky, stop halfway, devil's design. In years come to see my grave site as a heritage shrine. Keep that, bleed that, what you say, keep that. There's gold in my soul, it's a shame they can't see that. Keep that, bleed that, what you say, lean back. There's gold in my soul, it's a shame they can't see that. Keep that, bleed that, what you say, keep that. There's gold in my soul, it's a shame they can't see that. Keep that, bleed that, what you say, lean back. There's gold in my soul, it's a shame they can't see that.
Yeah. Gangsta Hippy, we're back. It's been a hot minute. I was just speaking to Liu behind the visuals there, and it must have been about a year and a half ago since we done one. The last one we shot was with Hannah Tobias. So yeah, it's good to be back. It's been a minute, and what I say, big up to Harry Ixer, who can't be with us tonight, but big up Ixer, and you'll be seeing him again soon.
What up, Harry?
So I had to bring in my boy Bucky. Bucker's the realist.
What up?
To help me run the show tonight.
Good to be here.
Make some noise for Liu as well.
Yes, mate.
Big
Every
up
time.
Liu. And tonight I got one of my brothers and fellow EA musician, and someone I've been working with for a while now and got a lot of respect for. Formerly known as Barker, Sleep's cousin.
Yeah.
Hey.
Go on, fam.
Thanks for having me. How you doing? You good?
Yeah, bro.
What
yes,
up?
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, bro. Had to get you on. I didn't expect it to be this long. Do you know what I mean? When we started popping out the podcast at the start, you was always going to be one of our first guests.
I appreciate it, man.
Do you know
No, better
what I mean?
late than never, eh?
Yeah. So it's good to finally get you on there. And the good thing is you've probably done a lot more. In the last 18 months, so you've got a lot more to talk about and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm definitely glad we're going to have a conversation now instead of like a bit of time ago. But then in a year and a half from now, I'd probably say the same thing, innit? I guess.
Always got to keep it moving.
Trying our best,
But yeah, as I say, with Gangsta Hippy, we've been gone. We haven't been, completely quiet. There's been things happening. Do you know what I'm saying? There's still been a bit of music made. We got to Ali Bongo because Ali Bongo's been selling our merch the whole time in the shop. So big up to Ali Bongo. There's still some stuff in there, t-shirts, grinders, beanies and all that you can get from Ali Bongo's Norwich, whether in the shop or online. So big up to Ali Bongo.
Yeah.
And you've probably seen the Gangsta Hippy stickers all over the city.
Everywhere.
And wherever else they are. Gangsta Hippy stickies, I was about to say.
They are everywhere.
I'll smoke us our CBD. It's been a minute. It's been about a year. What you on there, Sleets? You on the cider?
Yeah, we got the Co-op own brand cider.
There you go. Yeah,
we only drink the posh
shit.
stuff round here.
Classic.
Me and Bucky's on that hard shit.
The Coca-Cola.
But I'll start with you, Sleeps. How you been, bro?
Yeah, good, man. Yeah, I live in Norwich now, so I'm able to be about for music and stuff like this a bit more, which has been really nice. New kind of day job, which I've been enjoying. We're zeroing in on the album being finished as well. So, between that and the wordplay signing, the music stuff's looking pretty good. Just trying to fill up the year with some gigs and stuff. Yeah, man, just excited for the album. It's
So
been a while since we've done one.
Let me, because there's a lot of things we could talk about from what you just said, and then a couple of things there. Do you know what I mean? First of all, where did you grow up?
So I grew up in Downham Market,
Yeah.
which is a little town. Mostly people know it because it's on the direct route to King's Cross. But the closest place with fun stuff happening was Kings Lynn.
Yeah.
So I lived in Lynn for a couple of years.
Mad love for Kings Lynn.
Yeah, Kings Lynn's great. Oh, 01553.
That's it.
But you got to get out of Kings Lynn eventually. I do love the place, but I feel like those sort of small Norfolk villages, as nice as they are and as much as they shape you, Downham and Kings Lynn, that general area, is the sort of place, if you don't get out by the time you're like 24, 25, you're probably going to spend
stuck
the rest
in the
of your
hood
life
forever.
Yeah,
You gotta make it out, bro.
Exactly.
Do you know
yeah.
what I mean?
And luckily, I was able to just at the buzzer,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
before I turned 25. I got out. So,
all your
Shout
old-
out to my Kings Lynn
all
fam
your
that are in their
old
40s.
All your old friends are watching the podcast now, hating like that pussy made it out. He's living the dream in Norwich.
I won't be able to go back now.
So you live in Norwich now. You've lived in Norwich for a few years now, no, a couple of years.
No, just about 6 months. 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're actually down there full time.
Yeah,
now.
I've been between. Like,
Yeah, you've been hanging for a while.
I
right?
think at this point I could probably drive the A47 back to Downham with my eyes closed. I've done it so many times.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nice to not be so back and forth now. Pretty well central as
Yeah,
well.
well, it's good to have you as part of the adopted family. Do you know what I mean?
Appreciate it, man.
But
doubt.
how you been, Bucky?
I'm all good, mate. How are you?
Yeah.
I'm good.
Usually I got my man Ix here, but I had to. Do you know what I mean? Ix
Oh,
ain't the
yeah.
back, so I had
Well,
to
I'm a substitute of sorts, but
yeah,
you know,
I had to get someone who could just
can't
slip in
replace
and-
Harry Ixer, the irreplaceable Harry Ixer.
Nah, he's irreplaceable, but you're a good substitution.
Yeah,
bro,
I'm
do you
good.
know what I mean?
Obviously, had a baby, so that's
Yeah,
been
yeah.
like most of my stuff this year. But still doing my music. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Still
yeah.
cracking on, making
Bucky
beats.
the daddy, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's-
man, I've been enjoying it. It has its moments.
Yeah.
Lifestyle changes, have been they're imminent and ongoing. But yeah, it's all blessed.
A lot has changed for all the music lessons members.
Oh, no
when
doubt,
you think
yeah.
of like when we was 2015, 16.
Well, it used to be bit freestyles and a big
And
bag
then
of borf,
bam,
and now it's
yeah.
like kids at the park and
Do you know what I mean? Like from festivals and freestyling for fucking 12 hours at a time in the orphanage. Do you know what I mean? And now
I don't know how my wife used to put up with me. We'd be like gone for like 2 or 3 days, but you've only been in one room.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I'm just doing my music.
Yeah.
Allow it.
It's been interesting to see it because I think I sort of started coming to events and stuff just on the tail end of that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I sort of caught the tail end of the, like you say, the 3 days on a bag of borf and like festivals and stuff like that. And then the more and more I've worked my way into the scene, the more and more like wholesome family men.
Yeah. So let's
music lessons has
go
become.
into that period of time because that was obviously the elbow grease period.
Yeah, man.
Give me some noise, Lee. Let's
Drop them elbows.
have a. So, big up Dan, whether he's watching this or not. Dan Hallcroft.
We can make sure he watches it. It'll be-
out in Australia right now. He was a big advocate for live music in Norwich and live music in general, and just like someone who was a real, I met him.
Now
through-
he's not here. You see how big a
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
he done with the owl sanctuary and that, don't you? I think.
Yeah, there was the whole campaign to keep the old house.
Yeah.
And then, but he let us have a home there. Do you know what I mean? Like he let Elbow Grease have a home there, have that regular hip hop night, and some of them nights must have been a nightmare. But he was clever because he'd fuck off. Do you know what I mean? It's just like
He'd either get involved
Licks
or
and all
fuck
them
off.
lot are smoking weed on
Yeah,
stage.
I
and
don't care.
Out of sight, out
I
of
remember he'd
mind.
say to his staff as well, "Don't let them do anything."
Yeah.
No.
He knew full well what was going to be going
Oh,
down.
well, I was the one that always used to get it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
The next day or something. He's like,
Yeah.
"Oh," but hey,
You know when I became a bit shook though? When Hannah worked there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? When it was like the other blokes. you
Yeah,
know, they was
yeah, it's like,
come
oh,
on, bro, we're smoking in there. You can't tell Skinny Man not to smoke on stage. Skinny Man smoked in every venue that I've been at. Do you know
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I mean? But so yeah, big up to Dan. He gave us this place where we could call our home, and we set up the elbow grease things, and I was booking all different artists, mainly from the EA, but from London, Birmingham, Coventry.
yeah, there was quite a few different people
And,
from around the country, weren't there?
So we always done a cipher at the end, a freestyle cipher,
Yeah, the open-
and then there's this mad big dude. You had the
I think I had
dreadlocks, innit?
dreadlocks at the time, yeah.
And you
Always
had your
in
mate,
camo
what's
as
his,
well.
what's
Tom.
your mate?
Tom, yeah.
Yeah,
Was
yeah.
it Tom Forster, isn't it?
Foster,
Yeah, Tom Foster. He's a legend.
And you two was there, do you know what I mean? You was coming every month.
Yeah.
And I
They were
met
killing it. I used to host it and be like, who are these?
yeah, now you
The two most unlikely looking dudes.
Yeah,
You
that's
was,
what I kind of look. I rate that though.
Coming in like Jay and Silent Bob.
I rate that.
yeah, boom, like that.
I rate that more than like some kid with a hood up, like already giving it the
Yeah,
big.
exactly. We had all that.
Yeah. It's
you know
dope
what
to
I mean?
see.
I mean, I can't speak for Tom, but I was always too self-aware to go full grease like that, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I could never bring myself to go in full grease and then, you know, go back to my mum's house and be a polite young man.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
couldn't.
Well, you come out of yourself because I've seen you at gigs now with your top off and
Yeah, man.
your sweat's coming
It's
off into
just
the
fucking
crowd
hot,
and you're
you know,
sharing the
like-
love with everyone. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Literally,
it's just
they're
hot, I
going
don't
home
want-
with a piece of you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I just
man.
don't want to ruin my t-shirts because I sweat so
Yeah,
much
yeah,
when
no,
I
I hear
perform that it's like, yeah.
But you caught my eye and my ear. Do you
I
know what I
appreciate
mean?
that, man.
With some of them freestyles.
I remember we went to the very first one. Well, not the very first Elbit, but our very first one, because the week before we'd gone to this event called Organised Rhyme, which was at, I think it was like an art gallery at the time. I think it's a Bread Sauce Cafe now or a Stranger's Coffee or something.
Right.
And under the guise of it being a hip hop night, but
Yeah.
it was all like slam poetry.
What
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
is this-
Yeah.
I think
And-
I remember them.
Yeah. But we went there, and Bo was there doing like an a cappella set, performing his songs as poems and stuff.
Yeah.
And got chatting to him afterwards, and he sort of sussed out that, you know, we weren't bummed out that we'd wanted a hip hop night and got a poetry night, because I like a bit of, you know, creative writing in any form, I guess.
Yeah.
But he's like, if you came here for rap, what you want to do is come back next weekend. There's this place called the Owl Sanctuary, yada, yada, yada. So that week, Tom and I
So who
burned-
put you on Bo? To the,
Bo did,
Yeah,
Big up Bo Marcel.
Love
Yeah?
to Bo Marcel. But yeah, so then in the week between those two events, Tom and I got all the demos that we had at the time and like burnt them onto CDRs.
Yeah.
Like Googled the dimensions for single covers, got my mum to take a photo of us and
Yeah,
we
yeah.
put that as the cover
Yeah,
and all
big
that.
up.
And I was going around handing out CDs, and I went to give one to, I think that was again to Bo, and he was like, "Oh wait, is that your last one?" Yeah. He's like, "Okay, I'll you know, appreciate it, but I'll go without. Give one to this guy," and he points me in your direction.
Yeah.
And I remember just handing you a CD and being well shook to get on the open mic, because I think I'd rapped in front of people once before at the Organised Rhyme thing. So there was a
Yeah.
cipher at the end, and like, yeah, watching people on the open mic session, and you'd be like, "Go on, son." Like, I'd be going.
Yeah,
then.
so-
and it's like, fuck me, pressure's on now. Okay, let's.
I'm kind of interested in what like first inspired you to rap. If you know what I mean, like I'm gonna start writing rhymes. I'm gonna start spitting sort of thing.
Well, I've always been into creative writing and stuff. I had a dope English teacher in high school, and I wasn't good at a lot of stuff, but he was like really spurred me on with creative writing and things like that. And I was like big old emo through my teen years. I'm still into all that heavy stuff now. So I was writing songs of that style and trying to start bands, and it just never worked, and sort of got annoyed with it. And rapping at the time, you know, I could pull up beats on YouTube, sit in my room and write.
Right.
And it was just another form of expression that I could latch onto without having to need 3 or 4 other people to play instruments.
Yeah.
So the form of creative writing was still there,
Yeah.
but it was just something I could do on my own, so it was more attainable. And then just looking at Facebook groups for local events, trying to find people, and that's how I found Organised Rhyme.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
But it was probably, I think Stig of the Dump was the first time I heard an English person rap that it was like, oh, this is dope, because I
I can
never
imagine you like can stick at the dump. Actually.
yeah.
Get what I mean? Yeah.
Because I never delved deeper. Because I mean, you know, around that time, Dizzy Rascal was in the charts. We had Example. We had Tiny Temper. But me not necessarily being like a proper diehard rap fan at that point, I never looked into like the old grime stuff and all that. So it was just like pop rap that didn't really, you know,
Yeah.
like come and dance with me. Come and, like it just
Yeah,
never.
yeah.
None of that stuff really spoke to me. So the first time I heard an English person rap that really grabbed my attention was They by Stig on the Cannon Fodder EP.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
And then I did a bit more delving and found like Jam Baxter and stuff. I don't know if my sleeve will roll up enough, but I got to give it to the guy, Lord rest his soul, Elliot Warren, Block 151, who ran a youth centre in Downham Market. And so through him, because basically we cut a deal. I was riding past the primary school I used to go to as a little one on my skateboard, and I saw a bunch of like set up skate ramps in there.
Yeah.
And this dude with like dreads down to his waist doing tray flips like it's nothing and all that, he rolls over to us because we're there like staring at the ramps like, can we hop this fence and like go skate? And we go skate, and then he's like, yeah, if you want to do this every week, if you volunteer on these sessions every Tuesday, whenever there's not a session on, you know, I'll give you the key to get round and use the ramps as much as you like. And then Elliot put me onto the Menagerie, Dr. Syntax, Jam Baxter, all of that, like all of the current stuff at the time, sort of thing. He was who first showed me like Vinnie Paz and Jedi Mind Tricks and all that stuff as well. So Elliot was a massively integral part of that too.
Yeah, so big up to him.
Rest in peace.
Yeah,
Block
R.I.P.
151 forever.
Yeah, love. So that was obviously, so the first lyrics you wrote, they were hip hop.
First ever lyrics I wrote were probably meant to be some like metalcore, emo.
That's what I was going to say.
Stuff.
You like kind of writ to that sort of stuff as well, isn't it?
That's why so many of my early lyrics are very not full horrorcore, because I've never been into like the proper disembodiment cheesy, like it is kind of cheesy to me. No disrespect to anyone that is into horrorcore, because there are some awesome artists out there, like Ouija Mac and stuff like that, and of course Insane Clown Posse. But like, yeah, the reason a lot of my stuff sounded like that at the time is because I just come from trying to write like metal songs. And that influenced the way I was
There's a
trying to
massive
rap.
crossover of that, though, isn't it? Especially in the States. But
Yeah, I mean, it's more so in like punk and hardcore, I'd say, which these days is the heavier stuff I prefer. I mean, I'm here in a Desolated jersey right now. But I find sometimes the metal people sort of turn their nose up at it. There can be a lot of elitism in metal circles.
Oh, for sure.
Whereas hardcore and punk, there is that crossover.
I think there's that solidarity in there as well.
A lot of it comes from the same thing. And I mean, a lot of hardcore bands like Desolated, like bands I'm drawing a blank on the names of right now, they are pretty much rapping, even though it's presented in like if you hear the vocal melody, it is very rappish.
Yeah, I don't know none of the guys that you just said. Are these English, American?
Desolated are English,
right?
It's a mix, really.
Yeah.
A lot of the guys doing there's a band I'm really trying to remember the name of so I can drop it, because they're like hardcore but with very rap lyrics. My brain keeps saying Crowbar, but it's not Crowbar. We'll move away from that, but yeah, there's a mix of American and English stuff.
All right, so obviously we linked
Gridiron. That's the band name. There we go.
You was hitting the ciphers. We we made a friendship and and then we ended up working together. Do you know what I mean?
We did, yeah.
You know,
on the Walrus.
We made an EP called The Walrus. Big up to my boy Case, who we're going to be getting on there soon.
Yeah, love to Case, man.
So me, you and Case done the beats. We made an album, and it's called The Walrus. So if you ain't checked that out already, it's on every streaming platform. So yeah, we put a little something together. Do you know what I mean? And we was able to catch a vibe together easily and very naturally. Do you know what I mean?
We're both sort of mythology nuts as well, aren't we? My one is definitely more so folklore, and especially like pagan religion stuff from before like the Romans come over and all that stuff, where my history isn't very good. And then yours is a lot of like Greek and Roman stuff, right?
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
So there's a lot of crossover.
What was it Skinny said back in the day? You new intellectual type of grimy. Remember that? If you want to try me, come find me. Fucking but nah, I always tried to level out the ignorant shit with some actual, do you know what I mean, for a deeper thing. But
you got to try and get a bit poetic with it, especially like I say with myself. I've always been a bit too self-aware to go full grease, because I try my best to be quite a nice guy.
I'm the same as that.
To go full grease wouldn't suit me.
You have to find an angle.
The beautiful thing about hip hop, do you know what I mean? And like people that know me know that I like Griselda. Obviously,
love Griselda.
But like some of the people Westside has worked with. Do you know what I mean? Especially on his early stuff like Tyler the Creator and you know rappers that are not from the. Do you know what I mean? Same kind of genre of rap that. Same genre, but like he's talking about he's the most grimy shit Westside is. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I mean,
so the good thing about hip hop is like. You all got something different to say, but you hit the same beat. You know what I mean?
of course, yeah. You and I have spoken about this before, in that you know they say like real recognise real, and it might be my real is different to your real is different to your real. So one person could be greasy, one person can be poetic, another person can be coming from a very introspective space.
You could be chalk and cheese and it still works.
Yeah, because you're all
But
true
that's
to
massive.
yourselves.
You
and
know,
that's
you know what I'm due to do is because I've put out a couple of fucking historic Norwich tracks. You know what I mean? There was a track called Antisocial back in the day when I was doing the whole antisocial thing with Case and a whole bag of other people. Big up Treves and Zara and all the people, Sid Sacred and everyone
Yes,
that was
mate.
involved back then. We had a track. I think there's 14, 15 people on that track.
Yeah.
All the youngers at the time, Baloo and J Dot and all them lot. And then we done the One Train, didn't we?
Yeah.
How many people was on the One Train?
Oh, there's loads, isn't there?
You know what's his? Is
The
it
A$AP
ASAP
Rocky,
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
beat just. It's one of them ones where
Remember,
like,
I
yeah,
think-
this would be good for
Because
us.
the
I've got
original-
3 or 4 people on this. Next thing you know, we had.
Because the original one's got like 10, 11
Oh
dudes
man,
on
we
it,
had
isn't
more
it?
than
But it's
that.
like 20 or
Yeah,
something,
we had
isn't it?
20 odd.
If there's
Even-
one train from Norwich, I'm the
Even
one that-
Ali, Bob Ali was on it.
Yeah,
remember?
yeah, there was people that didn't even rap
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, the first track ever, bam, just come on the NCT Cypher. So I'm due to do one of them again. Do you know what I mean?
I think we could do with everything super hard. Like, I don't mean hard as in like hardcore, like
Yeah,
people
yeah.
going for it as well, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe less people.
You see Lee who's over there concocting beats in his head like that now. He's thinking, yeah, I'm going to make the next big NCT Cypher
Poor old
track.
Toddy was in the studio having to like keep remaking the beat.
Yeah,
wasn't he?
yeah, of course.
Well, Bucky's having an 8.
And everyone's levels and all that.
Yeah.
That's another thing as well, like bringing different people to the studio. I've worked with a fucking 100 people probably, maybe
Yeah.
more, do you know what I mean? And I've seen rappers like literally cutting in every other bar and all that
Yeah.
kind of thing, do you know what I mean?
That's something I've found recently. Some of my very first recordings on a EP, I'm respectfully not going to mention the name of my very first one. If you
No,
dig,
we
you
need
can-
to hear what that is, bro. Because that's history.
It's called Luck and Black Magic.
Right, look
from-
for that.
Luck and Black
That's
Magic.
a classic. Look
If you
for
want
that.
a CD, I've still got loads at my mum's house. So if you would like one, I'll send you it. But I remember going around Scobes, where he was living at the time. Loved to Scobes, and I didn't know anything about punching in. I didn't know shit about recording music or anything like that. So I went around and recorded a song called Elevator Music that's on that project. And I recorded this whole song, like 3 verses, 3 choruses in one take.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know about punching and all that sort
I
of
mean,
stuff.
if you can do it though.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds rubbish, but
Can you remember the first time you went studio and recorded?
do you mean like a studio or like your mate with a
Even
mic?
if it's
like,
fucking mic with a sock on it, like the first time you recorded
first-
in a studio, no matter what that
it was
studio
probably
was.
probably Tom's bedroom at his mum's house.
Yeah.
And we
You
had
can't remember that first time, no?
not like the date or anything,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it
but
was
you-
definitely at
Tom's
Tom's bedroom at his mum's house.
Yeah.
And we had a mic. It looked like these, but was obviously nowhere near as good. It was like a 15 quid Amazon jobby.
Did you have
And
the sock on the mic?
We did, yeah.
Yeah,
But we
cool,
thought
that's it.
Keeping it real.
we thought the mic was going to be good because the metal casing around it was like fake gold. So it's got to be good then.
Bam.
You know what I mean? And we had one of these, but nothing to attach it to because his windowsill didn't come out far enough. So we balanced it in a mug, and it was the what was it? What's that? Feltwell Parish Council mug
Right.
with the mic stand balanced
Classic.
in it.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that was our first recordings onto the iPhone version of GarageBand on
There you
Tom's
go.
phone.
Bam.
And that was first studio every Friday for like probably about a year.
Bam,
Every
yeah,
Friday
that-
recording absolutely
Nice.
awful rap music.
Can you
Can I
remember
just-
but you remember the first studio?
Well,
you
I
went?
started off in bands and that, didn't I?
Oh, of course you did.
So yeah,
So you could actually get a band together.
Yeah,
yeah. Well, I was the only one that was like brave enough to sort of sing, I suppose.
yeah.
And yeah, some of them early recordings are pretty difficult to listen to now, but
Yeah. No, I hear that.
but I started
I hear
rapping at
that.
like 17 and like I was still playing in bands for ages. It was like going like that. I never thought like crossing the music or anything like that. First time I recorded raps though, it's just like messing around with Measy.
Yeah. Big up Measy.
Yeah, and Dan Hawcroft as well in his
Yeah,
bedroom, you know, up doing naughty things till like 3 in the morning. Just
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Pause.
You got to pay for that studio time one way or
Naughty
another, ain't
things.
you?
well,
Yeah.
What about you, man? When did you first get in a studio? What was your first studio experience?
I remember it. First time I hit the mic
Like in
was,
front of
was
people
when I
or
was
recording?
young,
Sorry.
and people was having house parties and little gatherings. People would people. This is back when people used to pop pills and all that, and like, do you know what I mean? You know, be on the mic or not, and that weren't my thing. And this was like about 2001, something like that. I was around people that could MC to drum and bass and all that. I couldn't.
Hyper.
But I'd be fucked. Do you know what I mean? Saying a couple. To this day, I can remember saying something, and you're talking. I remember being off my nut and saying, and it just come from nowhere. It's like, I've been getting sick since Jesus took his first fix. They sent us into crucifix. Ricky Licks in the mix, like a slow flow on a drum and bass beat. But at the time you hit a lyric from nowhere, it's just come from the
First time you hear your own voice catch a flow,
Yeah.
it's like a eureka moment, isn't it?
So,
it's like,
so anyway, I would touch the mic like that at little drum and bass things with my mates when I was young. But hitting the studio, I definitely remember it like it was fucking yesterday. So by this time, I'm in jail, I'm in Bullingdon, I've just turned 21. I've been in the young offenders for a while, and they sent me to Bullingdon. And I heard there's a mute.
Well, like you aged out of
I'm
the
not
young
even going to
offenders
go
and
into
went-
people, but one day I will. But like my hunger in jail, do you know what I mean? I'll literally go to a new jail before I've unpacked my bag. Who raps? Anyone rap on the wing? Do you know what I mean? Battle, let's clash. I was hungry these times
Sick.
back. And I had fucking 100 tapes of all these tapes I made of all these rappers from all over the country. Do you know what I mean? Like tapes we'd make in jail. A lot of the little stereos on the mic. You press record, you press play and record, bam, and you can use the side of the stereo as a mic.
right.
You know
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Little cheap stereos.
Like
so,
turning headphones
right, so boom,
service
so you got
backwards or
two
whatever.
stereos like that, so you use one as the mic, and then so we'd make little things in tapes. So anyway, I've gone to Bullingdon. I've heard they got a music class, and I remember I signed up for the music class. These things take a while to happen, putting your applications and stuff. And I walked in there, and I just seen the black guys, like the dreads. Do you know what I mean? Making some real fucking like.
Like Kalashnikov.
No,
like shit.
no. Dance or
Like
reggae.
reggae.
Like, a couple of
okay.
them were actually Jamaican, do you know what I
Right,
mean?
Yeah.
right.
And then I seen the white guys over there with the guitars and the drums. I figure I don't know nothing about that. So you can imagine being intimidated. They were a lot older than me as well. These big Rasta dudes, do you know
So,
what I
so
mean?
I got dancehall
So
or
I just
Oasis
walked
cover
into
bands.
there, like, yo, what's happening? I rap. Boom. The rest of they're obviously looking at me like, what the fuck? Do you know what I mean? Especially I'm miles away from Norwich as well. I'm
Right.
in Bullingdon, which is like Oxfordshire.
Right. Okay.
So I was like, yeah, I rap. The producers, they're probably thinking to themselves, what the fuck's this? And then just started kicking it, and that was that. We ended up making some songs in that studio, and I'd love it if anyone's got one of them songs that I made, because I sent out so many tapes. All my tapes went missing, do you know what I mean? But I remember I used to send tapes out to people. If anyone has got that tape, I'd pay a lot of money.
what was
to
the name
hear.
of those first tapes? Or were they just like
It was
mixtape
just
7?
tapes, do you know
or
what I mean?
whatever?
Like I was just on some real ignorant, do you know what I mean? Like sticky fingers, Eminem. Like,
Nice.
talk of my life, but a lot of battle bars as well, like stab your auntie in the head, corkscrew, like rip up, like a lot of just rip your head off type
believe it
bars.
or
Yeah,
not,
yeah,
my
yeah.
first raps were like that as well.
Yeah.
Even though I'm completely different now, but I was pretty grimy, even though I wasn't like that in my actual.
Yeah. Did you used to go to any of the battles?
Yeah, I did back in the day. Yeah.
Did you battle yourself?
I
Yeah.
won a couple of them.
Oh, you won a couple, innit?
My 18th birthday, I won the whole competition. They
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah.
let me in till 12 o'clock.
So
Do you
what was
reckon
this?
that was the birthday
So
present
where was
then?
it? Sonic.
Yeah.
Which is now Mojo's.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was away, so I never saw any of this. Do you know what I mean? I would
Yeah,
hear
no,
about
it's
it.
I don't know, it's funny little scene really. Like I think I've done about 4 of them, 1, 2.
Yeah.
It was fun, but it was a little bit sort of, I don't know, like people didn't like each other or
Right, yeah,
people
yeah.
turning no. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like the unity that we got later on,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
people wanted to work together. It's like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah, bare egos.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
a lot of people, like, there was some really good rappers there, and there was some proper, like, not so good rappers, let's say. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there would be some crazy people that were just in the nightclub. Do you know what I mean? Step up and it's like, I remember one geezer, I can't remember, but he just had this like patchwork jacket on. Do you know what I mean? He was just.
Yeah,
but he
man,
couldn't
you meet some characters.
He couldn't
don't
rap.
you?
Do you know what I mean? But he just signed himself up.
I love shit rappers at these events. So
Oh, man,
much.
yeah.
It's so good. I remember there was this one guy at a thing we did at Gringos, and there was like an open mic section. Because I'm sort of saying how bad it was, I don't want to name him, but we definitely all know him, and he's a proper Norwich local character.
Right.
But he was like freestyling away, and then just out of nowhere, offbeat, he just goes, "Bitches, bitches, bitches,"
I know the
and like
fuck you're on
screams
about.
it like 7 times, and then just carries on rapping.
Yeah, I know exactly who you're on about.
Yeah. Likes painting rooms and wearing pink.
But
I know who you were. That's my guy. That's my guy.
No, you're on about someone. I thought you was on about someone else. For a
Oh,
minute,
okay,
but
no.
Anyway, enough of the subliminals. But yeah, you do meet some characters, but I definitely want to talk about what you and Leo have been up to. But what's the whole wordplay thing? I'm not on Instagram or nothing at the minute, but recently I saw you was it sign a contract or something?
Yeah. So we signed to Wordplay now. We signed it like quite a while ago, but like announced it. What was that now? Like 2-3 months ago.
When you say we, you and Liu,
yeah.
as a package?
Yes, yeah. Leo and I are a package deal.
Yeah.
We're locked in. That's my big brother.
Yeah.
We're locked in.
So it's Sleep's cousin and Liu now. So
Yeah,
when
man.
the album comes out, that'll be the
Sleep's cousin and Leo.
yeah.
So what does that contract actually entail? What are they doing for you in the sense? Obviously, you've got the being having your name against Wordplay. Is
Yeah,
good.
yeah. That's
But-
like a seal of approval in of itself.
Yeah.
definitely.
Beyond that, just getting us more bookings, getting our tunes to more ears.
Yeah. So helping you with a lot of the promo
Yeah,
sort of
sending out
stuff
the
and
press
that.
packs to the right people.
Because Wordplay is established. Wordplay's been doing.
Yeah,
their thing
I've been a fan
for
of
years,
Wordplay
do you know what I
since
mean?
the Dreadlock
Is it-
music lessons.
is Nev still-
day. Yeah, Nev's still the guy.
Yeah, man, big up Nev. He's a nice guy, man.
Yeah,
I
man.
like Nev.
So I've been a fan of Wordplay for ages. I remember going to my first boom bap, which was 2015, and I would have bought a copy off of probably Nev in person without knowing that was him. And then just through him living in Norwich, us living in Norwich and sort of being about it, when we did Sleep Tape 1, I paid for placement of a song called Loaded Chips to be put on the Wordplay YouTube channel.
I know the track you're
And
on
that
about.
sort of, I think there might have been a few bubbling things before, but that was sort of where we first started speaking. Eventually, Nev needed someone to work cameras and audio and all that. And Liu's obviously the guy for that. So then Liu begins working for Wordplay, covering the media, all of the visuals and the sounds and everything. And then myself, being a bit of a chatterbox and a loudmouth, ended up in the position to go to some festivals and events and interview people, which was really fun. So last year we interviewed Ono Capone from High Focus. We went to NAS Festival and did a bunch of interviews, done a bunch of cool stuff like that. CL Brooks as well, and Nicky Diesel as well. Those two together, because they've got a project coming. I don't know if I'm meant to say that or not, but they have got a project coming soon. So we interviewed them around that.
You heard it here first, folks.
So basically, through us doing press from Wordplay and Nev believing in us, we got the opportunity to sign.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a good look. Do you
That
know what
is
I
a good
mean?
look, yeah.
As I say,
And,
Wordplay is a seal of approval. Like,
yeah,
to
definitely.
stamp
That's
on
like
us.
UK hip hop. That's like
Yeah, man.
to be associated with that.
And they're a
do you know
big
what I mean?
part of
Let 'em know.
like some of the people you mentioned, like Jan Baxter and all. You know what I mean? They're massively part
Covered
of that
all of them,
thing, weren't
yeah.
they? So it
There
makes
was
sense.
there was an interesting sort of full circle moment, kind of, where the most, I don't know if it still is, but at the time we did it, the most viewed video on the Wordplay YouTube channel was Ed Scissortongue interviewing Action Bronson. And then when it comes round for our first interview with someone through Wordplay, being Ono Capone, I'm there in an Action Bronson t-shirt, like not planned or anything, but it's just one of those little
That's the
synchronicity
universe,
moments,
just-
you know.
yeah, like that.
and perhaps we'll see Axel Bronson interviewing you
Maybe one day.
in an Ono Capone t-shirt.
Yeah, no, that's a good look. But like I said at the start, obviously we ain't done a show for a while now. The last one we released, would that have been the Ish one? So big up to Ish and Yanks and go check that if you ain't seen that one. And go check out mine and Ish's project, Licks and Baloo. Unlawful but moral. That's out on that's out on all streaming sites. But yeah, I've been away, but you're one person, or shall I say, you're two people that I've seen non-stop. While I haven't been doing that much, and I'm kind of just seeing things just going on, you and Lee, you haven't stopped relentlessly. You're always doing something, whether it's a gig or working on something.
Just trying to keep busy.
You've been putting in work, and you deserve to be, do you know what I mean, recognised by a team like Wordplay.
Yeah.
Like, you haven't just like been like you both deserve that, do you know what I mean?
We're both after it, you know. We have a session like once a week as a minimum, sometimes a couple or 3 sessions of a week. So the songs start building up, you know. Through gigs, you then meet people, and then their boys are putting on a show in their area. You know what I mean? So just through constantly being in the studio and sort of meeting people at shows, we've been able to sort of expand.
It is work related as well. Like, you know, I've done 3 gigs, I think, this year.
Yeah.
But back in the day, we'd have a lot going on, and
sometimes
the opportunities,
a week,
the opportunities come, don't they? When you're putting in that work, when you take a step back, you realise it's like, oh no, you've got to be there every week, every month, with a few bookings, with a few things going on. Otherwise, you're not.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, there was a point where probably every person I knew has either made a song, or they can rap, or they've got a verse. It's not something that like people can't do. A lot of people can rap, or they've got a verse, or you know, they've made songs, and then some people just go that extra mile, do you know what I mean, and put the work in, and they really like try and be the best they can at their craft and their art, and you see, do you know what I mean, like
well, I mean, you owe it to not only yourself, but you owe it to your craft to put out the best thing within your ability to put out, you know? Like, I've always, I mean, you know, in hindsight, I haven't always achieved it, but I've always sort of held myself to the standard of, if a rapper I listen to released this song or put this verse on this project, would I be gassed on hearing that verse from somebody else? So that's sort of the standard I've always held myself to. And then sort of, you know, then looking back, you realise that maybe that first project wasn't as good as fucking Cool G Rap or whatever, but it's still part of that.
Yeah, but it's about the process, isn't it? It's like if you're thinking it, I mean, this is fire, then you're sort of there. Obviously, if you're completely deluded, that's different, but if you're thinking it's fire, you're genuinely going to be somewhere near the mark for where you are at that time.
For your current ability at that time.
Yeah. Then you can only get, you know, you get better and better. I suppose it does get to a point where you're like, where am I at? But you guys just seem to be like maturing and getting better. And
But as I say, the work rate I've constantly, because other people have fell off as well, where they're not really doing fuck all. Like, do you know what I mean? When, you know, a few years ago, there was a lot of us doing that. Not just music lessons, but other crews. Like, there was a lot of people doing it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
it seems to be in or not say Norwich, for instance. There seems to always be like one person and then another crew. Do you know what I mean? And the next person sort of takes a step back, and then somebody else will fill the void for a little bit, and then
I'll tell you one thing that I think happened was COVID. I think COVID fucked a lot of shit up like that. Do you know what I mean?
I was gonna say I didn't. I think that's where Liu and I were able to get a step ahead of the game, because you know, I know a lot of people had a hard time and lost people, but I personally had a great lockdown, and I hope Liu did as well, because we spent a lot of it together. I was still living in Downham at the time, and there was this...
Obviously keeping your social distance.
Of course, yeah. It's a big enough studio, we could be 6 meters apart. Of course. That's the reason. That's the reason the recordings were muffled, because it was through one of them blue masks, of course.
There you
go. But no, so we had this like cabin in my grandparents' garden, which was formerly my granddad's train set room. And then this geezer goes and gets an extension put on his house for his train set room, which is the most baller shit I've ever heard. So then there's like basically this big shed with electrical hookup that we spent all of lockdown in, you know? And at that point, like you say, a lot of people weren't able to do those things at that time. And even if you were, we were so void of any creative influence to write about, because you would write about life, and life was on full stop for God knows how long.
We was banged up for 23 hours.
Exactly.
Well, I wrote loads of songs in lockdown.
Yeah,
As
yeah.
soon as lockdown was over, they're completely irrelevant.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They're all about not
Oh,
being
man.
like not being locked up, but being like, what's going on? Like the world's turned into a sci-fi movie.
Yeah, it got to a point where I thought if I hear one more rapper say the word coronavirus.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, yeah.
You know,
And
there's
honestly,
not a rapper who did not write coronavirus
No.
in their rap. Do
The
you know
only
what I
the
mean?
only one that doesn't make me wince is on State of the Union Freestyle by Jest, because it was the first time I heard it,
Yeah, yeah.
and that came out in like November of 2019, you know, I think he said something very plain like I'm sick like the coronavirus or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But at that point I hadn't heard of it, so I was like, okay, nice one, Jess.
Yeah.
And then from then it's like you say, it's like
like
how
a
many
million
more
times.
rappers are gonna do this?
I remember seeing people put out music. I'm talking about like people I listen to, like American artists, and some people putting out music like nothing had changed.
Yeah.
Like they were just still talking regular hood shit going on, and not talking nothing about what was actually going on. Do you know? What I mean?
yeah.
So it's like,
I think at the time it was kind of difficult to talk about what was going on as well, because none of us had a clue, and the people that did think they had a clue what was going on would sound like crazy alt-right conspiracy theorists and didn't want to.
Yeah.
So it was a hard time to speak about what was going on, because the world was mental at that point, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it still is. But at that point, I guess we were more susceptible to it because there was bugger all else going on. So the news was always there.
Yeah.
And you're seeing everything that's happening. Whereas normally you would have social commitments or work to distract you from all of the news you're getting. Whereas then we were like, and that's how could it get any worse? And then tomorrow's news happens and that's how it gets any worse. you know?
yeah.
To be honest though, it was the first time in my life I actually got to sit back and it's like I taught myself how to make beats.
Yeah.
Because I'd never really have the time to do that much. I was pulling all-nighters on my own, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, come on, let's,
Yeah, no,
you know what I mean?
right,
Some of them
fine.
first beats are a bit whack, but
Yeah.
eventually I sort of got there, and now that's what I do, more than writing raps, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there was definitely good elements like that where you could...
Yeah, I really value it as a time that we could just sort of sit and hone our craft, and because a lot of it was just Liu and I together, because at that point we justified it by like, yeah, Liu staying here for 2-3 weeks, a month, whatever, he's part of our bubble, so it's legal.
Yeah.
Loopholes. But then because it was just us and no one else, that's how we were able to lock in. I mean, we were already locked in, but then we were at a point where it's like we've spent a year and pretty much the only people we've seen are our parents and each other. So
Yeah.
it's dialed, you know.
Yeah, what a mad time to
So
come back.
That's crazy, isn't it?
personally,
Yeah.
sorry for anyone that didn't have a great time. I know that's most people, but I'm quite thankful for that time. Weirdly,
Yeah.
Although I'd just come out of my own personal little lockdown, because just like in the November of 2019, I'd broken my leg.
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
I'd done quite a job on it as well.
Yeah.
So I spent like 4 or 5 months or something not able
you're
to
like,
leave
yes,
yard.
I'm healed.
Finally able to go outside.
But no
And
one's
then-
about.
oh,
And
then-
yeah,
oh, yeah.
exactly. But I mean, literally in that song that we played to bring this in, I say I got my strength back, busting 5Ks and bumping Lulu, because I basically set myself the challenge. I'm going to walk 5K every single day.
Boom.
At the start, that took me 4 hours on my own, like round down a market, just walking 5K. And by the end of it, you're walking at the speed of a regular person. And the bumping Lulu bit that was when I discovered Lulu by Conway and the Alchemist, and that was my Griselda introduction.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
nice.
I got my strength back, busting 5Ks and bumping Lulu is
Boom, there you go.
There you
That's
go. So how long have you and Leo known each other then?
since 2018, I think, because we were saying earlier, it was either just before or just after we recorded The Walrus is when we met. Because I just put that off of...
Because until he said that earlier, I thought they'd been friends for years.
Yeah, you've got a vibe like you're literally
yeah.
like primary school friends.
Where are you
or
from
something.
originally?
Cambridge.
Of course. He's from Ixos.
Cambridge.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
But
But,
I
um,
just assumed that you had known each other a long time.
Yeah, well, we have now. But at that point, so we met at Clayton's house. Clayton from formerly from Homelands, from Dispossession, which is where those hardcore roots come in as well. That's how we met.
Yeah.
And then probably we did like sending each other files, send me beats, I send back vocals, or we'd meet at Clayton's and record stuff.
Yeah.
And then I think it was probably the start of the following year was when I moved to South Lynn, and Liu was round, you know, pretty much just as much as he was to my mum's over lockdown of thing. So more or less, as soon as we knew each other, we were pretty well inseparable, you know?
Yeah.
So that's how we've managed to get so locked in.
You two...
I'm glad it wasn't me, because I knew it was going to happen.
You two have got a lot of tracks together, isn't it?
Yeah, man.
lot.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Give us a quick lowdown on what projects have you got out there?
So we've
Other than the Walrus, me
Yeah.
and you, which is everywhere.
So-
What other projects you got all over the place?
so there was Luck and Black Magic. That was my first one as Barker. There was the Walrus, Lord of the Dance, which was the first full project we recorded together, and that was at Jacobs, who was also formerly in a band called Homelands. And Lord of the Dance came about. I was, you know, just writing as was, but someone I was a support worker for, but you're not really meant to, but basically ended up becoming my friend, a guy called Dan. He passed away, and that was my first time experience. Well, this is taking a morbid turn, I apologise, but that was my first time experiencing like death of someone close.
Yeah.
And the hymn at his funeral was Lord of the Dance.
Okay.
And
That's love.
yeah, so we link up and we make this project, and I dedicated the title track to him, because the whole thing was, so this dude, I forget the entire list, but he had the whole book thrown at him as far as disabilities are concerned. He had like brittle bones, dwarfism, Down syndrome, loads of stuff, but he was the most positive guy you've ever met. Like he could have done anything, you know. He just believed in himself and believed in like unconditional love in human form, you know what I mean? And it was just like, if you can carry yourself in that way and live life to this standard that you love with all these limitations that you face, the fuck excuse do I have to mope about and not be happy, you know? So that's my guy. So rest in peace to Dan as well.
All right,
so we had that project.
I'm
and
just
then-
gonna quickly say, Lord of the Dance.
Yes.
Your tape, sick.
Yeah.
Lord of the Dance, the actual real tune, because they played that at my friend's funeral as well.
Yeah.
You talk about powerful songs.
Beautiful, isn't
They
it?
played it at my great uncle's funeral. My little brother just goes, "This one's a banger." Because it's why they sing it at football songs. So, you know, football.
That's just a powerful song, and how old is that song? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
To
exactly.
make a song that people can like,
Carried on for...
It's
Yeah.
also like a hymn that anyone, if you're in a church and you're not like used to going to church or whatever,
you still
can
know.
kind of relate to, and it's not too like
It was
the
probably-
Lord came down. Do you know what I mean?
It's a banger.
It was probably hundreds of years old before it was recorded.
There's no
you know?
no doubt, a banger, one of the biggest songs of all time.
When I was in jail back in the day, certain songs, people are going down to church. A few people actually want to be there because of God and Christianity, but a lot of people going down there from different wings. He's linking him. He's got some hash. He's got some subbies. He's got
Okay,
so people
right.
are doing deals down the church. Do you know what I mean?
Like God's not watching.
But a few different churches I've been to, whenever Oil in My Lamp used to come on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, keep me
Like-
burning.
Like when
tune as it goes. Tune.
Bam.
Yeah.
That
It's
is
a
when
Wednesday
it would
night.
get you
Give
going.
me oil in my lamp, keep me burning.
Yeah. These are songs that are hundreds. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
and
these
probably
people
hundreds
are-
of years old before they got recorded.
Yeah.
But yeah, then bringing it back to projects. I don't think we did a couple of singles because we sort of set ourselves the challenge of making a song, making a video for a song, and releasing the song all in one day.
Yeah.
And I say we when Liu in fact did all the hard work, as is always the way with rap. The producers are the ones who do the hard work, and the rappers get
Big up Liu.
the you know. But so we did setbacks and situations, and we did YOY, and then the break, and we'd been making a lot of songs, and then we were making more songs while I wasn't able to leave the house, so I had a mic set up like this and my leg up, like you see the pictures of Conway recording in the wheelchair.
Yeah.
That's how I felt.
Yeah.
Even though mine was
that was
not
your-
quite
you was going through it.
and then because I wasn't able to move hardly anything, I had to inject this stuff, I forget what it was, in my belly to basically keep the blood circulating.
Yeah.
So I had a belly like a pin cushion, dude. It was just like purple all round here, and I was just moaning about it because I was quite a miserable bastard at the time, which I think is fairly justifiable, between not being able to walk or leave the house. My belly looked like a pin cushion, and I was sort of whinging about it, and Liu goes, yeah, but that is quite common for impact trauma, so you can't, like, you know what I mean, you can't take it too personally, I guess. And that's why the project is called Impact Trauma.
Okay,
and the
okay.
album artwork is the x-ray of my leg
Boom.
with a plate and two
Yeah,
screws
I
in
knew
it.
this anyway,
And then, so those were the projects under that name. We were gonna make a project called Sleep's Cousin, but I did some features with a few artists. One that comes to mind is a fella called A-Day, who's a Southern American rapper, really good. Not as in South America, like Southern states of America. I think he's from Texas or something. But I think my feature with him linked to the Spotify page of a producer called Barker,
Right.
who's massive. Like, I'm not really into that style of music too much.
This is when you called yourself Barker.
Barker,
innit?
yeah.
And that's why our project, The Wars, is Barker.
It's under
because
Barker,
before you
exactly.
come up with Sleeps.
But yeah, so I wasn't aware of this other Barker, despite him being huge, but my feature tracks kept linking to his page.
Yeah.
So it's sort of thought, let's nip it in the bud before anyone's heard of me, sort of thing.
Yeah.
At least anyone like further afield.
Yeah.
And instead of calling a project Sleep's Cousin, decided to change my name to that. I was really surprised it wasn't taken already. Like, the only thing that came up was a Talib Kweli song called Sleep's Cousin.
That's a sick name, to be fair.
I thought there'd be 50 local rappers from different areas called Sleep's Cousin, so I lucked out that there wasn't. And then our first one out under Sleeps and Liu was it Smell Me? The first one, I think it was either Smell Me or Kaput, or maybe Burning Sage. Was Kaput, okay. Which is like a auto-tuney hook and then like poetic verses sort of thing. And then, like a long run of singles, I'll get the order wrong and I'll forget names and stuff like that. But a long run of singles as Sleep's Cousin. And then we set about making a concept album called You Still Exist When Nobody's Watching.
Yeah.
And it was a concept I'd been writing since like the Ooze Avenue, Kings Lynn days, like before Impact Trauma. But by the time we'd come to record it, it had sort of taken on a new meaning, because the whole thing was like, we're sort of defined by, I'm someone's son, I'm someone's brother, I'm someone's friend, I'm someone's boyfriend, I'm this, that, the other.
Yeah.
And our relationships are defined a lot of the time by our personality, and who we are can often be defined by, who we are to those around us. And then when that's stripped away, who are we?
Yeah.
And that was the concept I was dealing with or writing with from like 2019. But then the fact it got recorded and released in COVID, it's stripped away because you're not seeing any of those people. So it sort of took its own new little meaning there. And then that was the last full album. It was like 7 tracks, because like track 1 is called You, track 2 is called Still, track 3 is called Exist. So it spells the album title in the track list.
Yeah.
So it's a short album, I guess, but I would just refer to it as an album instead of an EP or whatever. But and then we had Sleep Tape 1, Sleepover, because we were gonna stay with a friend of ours, Tom Coupland. Love to Tom Coupland, love to Max, love to Larry, love to Alfie, love to Michael, all those guys. So the majority of those guys were doing a film course at Ravensbourne Uni.
Yeah.
And they were like, we're going to do a music video for you guys as part of our like assignment. So we get there to spend the week shooting the music video. We're there for about 20 minutes and Tom gets the text that he's tested positive for COVID.
Back to COVID.
Yeah. So then we were locked in to spend 10 days on this big old sleepover.
Right.
Luckily, we never normally roll with a portable recording setup, so it was just some sort of touch that we did.
Yeah, thank God.
And then in those 10 days, we made Sleep Tape 1.
Bam.
And then
Which is loaded chips and all that.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then a few more singles. We had the
You got the Magpies track, innit?
yeah, that's our newest one out at the moment.
Yeah.
But then between that, we had like Look Back, which we were able to record the video with Oliver Whitehouse from Section Red,
Yeah, big
and
up-
all
big
those
up
sort
to
of
Oliver,
things.
Section Red,
Are We There Yet? Like a lot of singles.
Yeah.
And then Sleep Tape 2.
yeah.
They often sort of take meaning for me after they've been created.
Yeah,
The
no, I
sleep
heard
tapes
that.
are kind of ways
Yeah,
of
yeah.
me chaptering life. So
Boom.
Sleep Tape 2 is a way where was a point where I was there was some stuff going on, and I wasn't really feeling too creative, but Liu was, getting me to, and I say getting me like I didn't want to, but you know what I mean? Like I wasn't feeling the most creative juices, but nonetheless, we were going to Pirate pretty much, I think it was like every Monday, because I would work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, come to Norwich for the weekend, spend time with my girlfriend, and then on the Monday we would go to Pirate before I drove back to Down the Market.
Yeah.
And then those songs on Sleep Tape 2 were recorded in that point when I wasn't feeling writing and stuff was going on that was
Yeah.
getting in the way. So those songs are kind of representative of that time for
Yeah,
me.
Yeah, of course.
The songs aren't about that at all, but just to me, that's what that
Yeah.
means, you know?
Yeah. So you got a lot of stuff out there.
Yeah.
And most of that, obviously, your early stuff that's online.
There's
It's
two
Barker, and then
Barker
it comes up with
projects on
Sleep's
Spotify
Cousin.
and all those.
And,
Everything Sleep's Cousin is available everywhere.
So obviously you and Leo got a lot of stuff. What's the actual project that you're working on right now, and when are we likely to be able to hear that?
We're aiming for late spring, sort of April, May kind of time. The album's going to be called The Horse Is Dead, and it's a 16-track album, 3 of which are interlude.
Yeah.
But 16-track album nonetheless.
What's it called? The Horse Is Dead.
The Horse is Dead, yeah.
Why-
Is that on
why that-
wordplay? Sorry.
What is it? Is it what?
I said, is that on wordplay?
That will be
that will
releasing
be on
through Wordplay, yeah. So it's sort of the, I guess a bit sort of self-piss-takey of how UK hip-hop is, as much, because it's one of those things, as I'm a lover of it, I feel like I'm able to jam
So what is-
a little bit. In that I feel like,
what's UK hip hop? Is that the horse? Horse is dead.
I feel like it.
Who's the horse?
This is the horse is whatever you want it to be.
Right. Okay. so
Magic
yours
horse.
says you just said it's UK hip hop.
Well,
Not the
I
category.
feel that there's a lot of sort of dead horse mentality in UK hip hop, in the sense that like it's like Verb T has a bar. He says about 3 T's and old jeans, and it's very like you set up your decks on the crate, or you set up your decks on the pool table at the pub. You play for 50 quid, you have a few pints,
Yeah.
and you go home. And I love that, and I'm by no means saying that that's wrong or bad, or people who love doing that are bad or whatever, because I love doing that.
Yeah, yeah.
But we've always strived for more than that, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I could rap in basements for my whole life and I'd die a happy man. But we've always strived for something beyond
Yeah,
rapping in basements with the decks on the
Yeah,
pool
you got
table.
it, haven't you?
So
So you're on about doing bigger gigs and all that.
Yeah, yeah. So the horse is.
Go
Sorry.
on. Yeah, carry on
So
with that.
so yeah, the horse is dead is me sort of going, all right now, that horse is dead. Let's go on to the next race.
Right, so it's on about you looking for something bigger and better in a way.
Yeah, yeah.
Like trying to grow and
Trying to hope, it's sort of somewhat as well hoping that this album is what pushes us to that next point.
Yeah, yeah.
If this horse is dead, hopefully this album will get us on the back of the next one that's a bit faster.
yeah, yeah.
You know?
That's a lot of tracks. Have you got any who you working with? Can you let us know anyone you're working with on that?
All produced by Liu, other than, well, there's one song that's co-produced with 3CNB and one song that's co-produced with Content.
Yeah.
And then
Big up to them.
And then features, we have Verbs, Skin, Buddha French, Grotty White, Simeon, and Dots.
So
Nice.
you got a few heads on
Yeah.
there, a few like well-known heads. as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
yeah.
a few people we've been lucky enough to meet
Yeah, yeah.
throughout our journey, you know?
Yeah.
And then, so the album is to, actually, we'll leave that. you can find that one out at the time. The general narrative. The album has it's not a concept album, but it's got a general narrative.
Right, there's something going on there.
But yeah,
Yeah, and I heard
Is
that.
there any people that you like would well love to work with?
there's
In
so
the
many.
Obviously,
The
there's.
the
Is
big
there any
one-
ones that like maybe sort of you think are attainable that you could?
Attainable if we play our cards right, and the main one at the moment, just because I think it would be such a good fit and I'm such a big fan, is Peng Shui,
Right.
which is Illiman's group.
Okay.
So Illiman from Potent Funk and Problem
Yeah,
Child
yeah.
and all that has a group that are kind of Prodigy Pendulum-esque,
Right.
but
Okay.
being English, English guys, it's got that UK hardcore feel to it as well. But there's still rap verses and a lot of it's 140, so it's like grime shellers. And the bassist has this crazy pedal board where he makes his bass guitar sound like dubstep. Like, it's sick, but there's still like rapping and scream vocals and stuff. It's one of my favourite bands at the moment.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
for me, that's who I want to work with the most as of here and now.
Yeah.
Cool.
I could list you for days people I want
Yeah,
to work
yeah.
with, of course, but
What,
that's...
what you got coming out, Bucky? Because it's been a minute. Are you cooking anything up?
Yeah, man.
What's
I am.
happening in the Buck studio?
Well, the Buck Studio has a long backlog.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
nah,
What do you mean? What, like a lot of unfinished tracks or unreleased
yeah,
tracks?
there's a lot of tracks. I wouldn't say there's loads of. Basically, my main focus at the minute is I'm doing an album with Chrome. Big up Chrome.
Yeah, you've told me about
So I've
this.
nearly,
Big up Chrome. And when you do something with Chrome, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's always a long. Mine
It was
a
nice
long
to be asked.
process.
You know what I mean? It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like I was like, yeah, of course I'll do an album
Yeah.
with you. You know what I mean? Dope. And so I've nearly done that. Obviously, having a baby and my
Yeah,
time,
yeah,
and,
of
and
course.
also like your headspace when you're not like
Yeah.
sort of getting older. Do you know what I mean? And not having the pad of you at all times
Yeah,
as much
yeah,
as I used to.
yeah.
But I feel like when I write now, it's like a moment. Do you know what I mean? And the verses are better.
So are
for
we
it.
getting something from you this year in terms of a project?
I want
or
to do. I
something?
want to release 3 projects this year. One with Chrome.
Yeah.
One with Parky because I've got so many beats with Michael Parkinson
Yeah, yeah.
through the
Big up to
years, and
Parky.
yeah, big love to him.
I've got a
and-
funny story on that in a moment when we get there.
Cool. And yeah, RZ, me and him are trying to get together a sort of like mixtape vibe thing
Right.
with half his beats, half my beats.
Yeah.
Called Earwax.
Big up RZ.
Yeah, and that was just from RZ's my brother, and he started getting on the beat thing while I was doing that.
Yeah, yeah.
So that hasn't got any raps on it yet or anything, but we've got the beats there together.
RZ,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, nice.
the man with the best kept fingernails in UK hip hop.
Oh,
Yeah.
There you go.
Pedicure.
There you go. Yeah, so that's good. We're definitely gonna have some new music from you. This
Oh
year,
yeah,
Bucky,
yeah, definitely.
and-
Like this year,
Have you two ever made a track together?
nah, but what's
That's
the
happening
space?
this year. It's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
then-
obviously I've just copped some beats from Leo as well. So
Yeah, yeah.
I want
So
to
I
be
could, so I
productive
could
this
imagine
year.
an EP of you two, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
at some point in the future, like
Yeah, man.
Buckers
Well,
and
we
Streets,
chatted
that
about
would
it,
be,
didn't
that
we,
would be
Bucker's
hard.
cousin. It's definitely happening.
Yeah, yeah. And I'd love to see what Liu came up with for that as well if he produced it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Always
Picture
gold.
You two.
Always.
But, like,
But you got. I want to work with everyone. Do you know what I mean? I want to get back into that vibe of just go. Yeah, I'll do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Still got to do Dutch Masters too, mate.
yeah. That's what I mean as well.
Yeah.
Like, but you've mentioned a few names already. But what English artists, as a fan, what English artists are you listening to right now? Who you feeling in England? Not just rappers, but in general.
In general, Loyal Kana's got to be one of the best lyricists out of the UK, like ever. I love Loyal Kana. He's great.
Where's he from?
He's London, isn't he? I don't know where, but yeah.
That's a skit. It's London, isn't it? That's a skit.
Hey,
then.
look,
Cut that up, Liam.
sounded
I
like
didn't
my
think
old man
I'd
then.
like Lil Kana when I heard sort of
So
about because
good.
you hear about people before you actually listen to it.
Yeah, yeah.
But actually, as I listen to it, I'm like, nah.
Yeah,
this
no,
is-
you'll have to, if I haven't already, you'll have
Yeah,
to show
yeah.
me
And
some.
his newest one is a feature with Unknown T as well.
Okay.
And Loyal Kana's
Oh,
normally...
hold on, this is the one you showed me the
Yes,
other day. Yeah, that's hard.
And Loyal Kana's normally a very sort of
Yeah, yeah, no,
thought-provoking,
no, I rated that.
profound MC, sort of talking about his feelings and life and everything. But then on this new one, he just brings it with grease, and it's like it was really cool to hear someone that I'm used to being like poetic just go grease out on a track.
Yeah, yeah.
Other than that, from a lot of the rap I listen to, I daren't say is American. To be honest,
Daren't say, come on, Bob. We grew up on America.
But,
mate, straight.
one
like,
of, one of
funny,
the
like, that's
I've got to throw one out for one
most
of the
shit I listen to
boys.
is American,
One of the
do you know what
best
I mean?
UK hip hop albums that came out last year was Grotty White's project with Jack Dans.
Boom.
You know, lucky, cool Grotty White, my friend. You know, great bloke. Love to Simeon. Love to all the lower sector guys, but. It's not from a point of bias that his album with Jack Dans is one of the best UK rap albums of last year.
Cool.
Being somewhat put on the spot, I am struggling to think because a lot of the rap I listen to is American. I bet I'll be
so what
kicking
American
myself.
shit you fucking with right now?
Huge Earl Sweatshirt fan at the moment.
Yeah.
He's the person who probably influences my writing style at the moment the most. Griselda, love all that kind of stuff. The whole Griselda sphere. Love Freddie Gibbs, Maxo Cream. Someone I support at work recently put me onto a guy called Lord Lorenz, who's like kind of Dirty South, also chopped and screwed kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Really enjoying that. And then a lot of artists who, you know, politely sound like they grew up on Earl Sweatshirt as well.
Yeah.
So like Mavi, Diz.
And he got in his dad, like, who's his dad?
I think he's some sort of. I think he might be a poet or some sort of scholar in his own right. I know he's a very smart man, but I don't know what he does. But yeah. Then on the English side, a lot of this, I'm just deep into the UK hardcore scene at the moment. One of my current favourites is a band called Negative Frame. I saw them supporting a band called Street Soldier at the Waterfront last summer, and they're like beat down hardcore, but then their guitarist is like a hair metal guy, so they've got like the crazy guitar solos, but then it's like no nonsense beat down mosh pit music as well.
I love a bit of that.
Yeah, there's going to be so much great UK music that I'm going to kick myself for not mentioning once we're off air. But Lord Apex as well, it does go without saying at this point. You say UK rap, you say Lord Apex. You know, it's one of those.
You mentioned Griselda.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I love Griselda. I think Benny just dropped something, hasn't he?
Benny's just dropped a track with Snoop Dogg.
Yeah,
he's
because he just dropped an album, hasn't he?
Yes, which I've not heard
he
yet.
got
as
the
it
Big
goes.
Dogs track.
Not everyone,
Little Wayne.
not everyone can make it, or not everyone can come, or something.
Not everybody.
Yeah.
Everyone can't go.
Yeah, everyone can't.
They changed everything for me, but like, my wave, as Bucky would tell you, was the Max B wave.
Free
And
Max
I've rid
B.
that Max B
Another
wave
great
for a lot
artist
of
I only
years,
found.
do you know what I mean?
I found Max B far more recently than I'd care to mention, at risk of losing rap points. But shouts to Hemmer and Always Known. They put me onto Max B. And all that
like
stuff.
I'd say I had a few waves in my life. Like Wu-Tang was a big wave when I was young. Do you know what I mean? There was a
Wu-Tang
point
Forever
where
is my father.
I'd go into the hip hop section, turn over the CD, even if there's a Wu-Tang feature on, like everything I had to have it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, you know, obviously fucked with different things, but then the Max B wave, I was fucking with him for a lot of years. What?
I don't use them.
How did you get that?
Lee needs a filter. He's doing some.
Please put that to the camera. That's
fill it.
amazing. Do you remember, for the people that didn't see
doing
that,
some AI.
do you ever see those belts that have the UV lights
yeah.
that spell something as they go across? Liu just concocted one of those that says, "Have you got a filter?"
Yeah, I'll do. Yeah.
No one's got a filter from that.
Got some roads, just hand.
There you go. But yeah, as I say, like I was Max B, but then Griselda, and like the Griselda wave was mad
crazy.
and is mad, but it's then everybody else.
Like I said,
it's
the Griselda sphere,
Yeah.
because they all collaborate together, and then you find so many other great artists and stuff.
I'd love to say, but I can't because that would be. But like, one of my friends has got a project with someone who kind of a producer who was kind of around when that era come up. But I feel like I'd be snitching on him if I was to say what, just in case he hasn't said before.
Yeah.
But like I worked with God Fahim, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You were gassed about that, I remember.
Yeah,
Super
but I
gassed.
spoke to him, like I messaged him and then didn't think nothing of it. And I remember like it was about 3 a.m. I was falling asleep and I used to smoke bare weed and I was just smoking through the sleep like that. And I just remember seeing, I can't remember what his instant like message from and then bam, like got it cracking and done a track with Fahim. But yeah, a lot of people since I started listening to Griselda like 10 years ago, Like that way, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They've just grown.
Another one in that Griselda sphere that I've got really into recently is a guy called Mickey Diamond.
Yeah,
he's got. I think we were talking about it the other day. He's
said-
got a project with Big Ghost Limited, which I really enjoyed. Because it's a great album, but I enjoyed my process of finding it as well. Because I'm not like a football guy or whatever, so my version of like watching the match is like getting a few of these, sitting on the sofa and just watching all the recent uploads on Thrasher's YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And like I found Mickey Diamond's music through it being in the background of a skate video, and that just felt so nostalgic to me because before, you know, Discover Weekly and streaming, the way I found all my music, if it wasn't by friends recommending it, it was by it being on in the back of skate videos.
It's always been the same. We had that growing up, like, I can't remember this, but like there's like a Red Man song would be in the background. You'd be like, you know what I mean? There was two types of skating in the 90s. There was the punk style, and then there was the hip hop guys.
It's all about that Philly street style Stevie Williams shit.
Yeah.
That's where we are.
All of that.
That's where we are.
Yeah, basically.
That's what we want.
And that's what we thought was the coolest thing ever. Do you know what I mean? The hip hop skaters.
Yeah. No, I fuck with Griselda now. What other stuff? Do you listen to any drill? Like, do you
Bits
listen to
and bobs, not loads, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah. So you don't like any of the
it's not that I don't like it. It's just that there's. I think it's one of those things. From the outside looking in, you see all of the fat as well as the meat. You know. So then your impression of it can often be determined by the less great artists in it.
So
Yeah.
I'm a say some people that do you like Potter Paper?
Of course, yeah. I love Potter Paper.
Potter Paper's killing it, bro. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, my apprentice is going to see him.
so let's like. Yeah, I remember we mentioned that the other day. I can't remember one of them old guys at Farmer G or something. But like UK hip hop artists never reached the level of what.
Yeah.
These, do you know what I mean? Nowadays, your Potter Papers gigs, they've gone Central C. So like,
They're massive now, aren't they? Like,
you know, the English artists have gone nuts with it, but UK
Within
hip
that
hop,
sort of street
UK
rap
hip hop
scene,
never blew like that, did it? You
No.
had your skinny mans, your Rodney P's,
Yeah.
Task
Task
Force, which hit a certain level, didn't they?
Yeah.
And they were like
But
beautiful.
no one broke through. Would you say anyone broke through to a commercial level? There you had Roots Maneuver, didn't you? Witness
Yeah.
the Fitness, like
Blade
Probably the
had
closest.
a couple of tunes that were like pretty, you know what I mean, in the charts maybe, I think.
Yeah.
But
Also, my thing is like around the prime of that, I wasn't about. Some of that prime, I wasn't even really alive yet. If I was in nappies, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, I feel like I'm not able to say who got the critical acclaim because most people I know are hip hop heads.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we would all say that, like, you know, they're all very well known because everyone I know knows them.
exactly.
But
they're not
yeah.
known.
I
like,
don't
if you
have
asked,
that point
yeah.
of reference because
but
I
they're
wasn't
not,
there.
they weren't
to
on the
see
radio all the time.
Don't matter who
or-
you are, you've heard of like Central C and
Of course, yeah.
you know.
But back in the day as
Dave.
well, you'd have one, like Westwood would put out his like compilation, and they'd have one UK artist, like one Kalashnikov track.
Yeah,
and,
Skinny Man on there, Kalashnikov on there, didn't he?
yeah, but
I was at work the other day. I fucking painting some flats in Caister and like it's like sheltered housing for like so a lot of old people and stuff. And then I went into this block of flats. And I heard the guy playing some Kalashnikov. I'm painting the door, innit? Do you know what I mean? And then there's this dude.
mate, I'll get gassed when
I
I
was
hear
like, what,
Kalashnikov.
Kailash, yeah? Do you know what I mean? And
I had a similar moment
I
at work
painted
the
a
other
lot
day
of
as it
doors in these flats.
Yeah.
But just music, innit? Do you know what I mean? Through his door being open a little bit, me hearing some Kailash, and then he played some Potter Paper. But when I heard the Case of Boom, we got talking.
Yeah.
He's originally from Finsbury, do you know what I mean?
Sick.
So then
Nice.
it's a skinny thing, and he listened to a lot of UK hip hop. I was naming people that like nowadays, but he was like the old school UK hip hop.
They were
I had a
good
similar
times,
thing.
man.
So
Days.
it's just random, innit? But hearing someone at work, you know what I mean? And then before you know it, you're having an hour chat.
Yeah, I had a similar thing leaving work the other day. So the office I'm in, so the office is here, and then there's like first step flats, like basically like people who have been on the streets, so then have a room in the building where my office is, and then like like terraced just off of the office, like technically a separate building, but the same brickwork, is like second stage move on flats. And there's this guy there, he's got this big old Rottweiler who's like, looks terrifying, but is the loveliest, cuddliest dog you've ever met in your life. And I'm walking to my car because I finished work, and he's got his window open, you can smell weed like fucking shooting out. And as I'm walking to my car, I say, K, lash your ass, clut neck off. And it's like, yeah. And then like he sees me out the window, I've got my lanyard on, so he thinks I'm going to be like, hey, you can't be smoking. I'm not his support worker, so what he does doesn't affect me.
Yeah.
You smoke weed and listen to Kalashnikov as much as you want. And we, like you say, just got talking about Kalashnikov, old hip-hop, like all that sort of stuff. It's Or it's like when I say someone I support recommended me Lord Lorenz. It's just those nice moments, you know?
I remember Kalashnikov saying he was in Cambridge. Was you at that gig?
Dunno.
You know, what is it called, the Rat? You know, like in the city, across from the Bell, there's like a little pub round the corner. Not the Murderers, but across the road.
Oh, what, the Lamb?
The Lamb.
Yeah.
Was you there when Kalashnikov performed there?
No, I weren't, but I booked Kalashnikov, didn't I?
And Norwich, and like obviously the people in the crowd were pissed off. Do you know what I mean? It's like, yo, big up Cambridge. They were like... It was funny because then straight away, like, prick. Do you know what I mean? Fucking, you don't want to hear his tunes anymore. He just pissed us off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I booked Kalashnikov and big up Kailash.
Yeah.
And that was the first ever music lessons gig.
Yeah.
I was like, right, if we're going to do a gig, I'm going to, do you know what I mean? I'll get a big act in so we can be the support act.
Yeah.
But it was like, I won't go, it's like, it was funny.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Go into it, bro.
He phoned me up. He phoned me up on the day and he's like, bro, can't come. But you know, me compared to Kalashnikov, I'm a wetty, right? Do you know what I mean? I'm like, nah, bruv.
Yeah,
and then like it went on for like about a minute of me just going, nah, what? I've sold these. Fuck.
You were trying to rep.
Yeah, and then
he just
went, I'm only joking, mate. And I was like,
I
know, like I learned a lot from that gig because I bought him Fat Rider. Do you know what I mean? Made him sorted out. I probably paid. I paid a good amount of money for it. Do you know what I mean?
Gave him a karate chop on the shoulder before he went on stage.
Yeah, it was a vibe.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But it was good to do.
Yeah,
definitely. You know.
And talking about obviously he called us Cambridge. Like you can piss off the audience. Remember the Giroud the Damager gig?
Yeah.
You know how many people I know that come away from that gig not liking him anymore? Really?
Yeah, Jamie was.
That's why I say don't meet you because he was out and then he was just probably just in a, I don't know, just in a bit of a. He didn't do nothing to me during that.
No.
I think it's just like, you finish, you come off stage.
He was so
and then he's got people on you and they're probably asking him, he probably just wants to fucking have a drink, have a spliff and get some pussy. Fuck knows, do you know what I mean? But he was like, a lot of people came away like, no, he's a prick, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's that thing because it's at the art centre as well, like going outside to smoke and he's in there with the audience, you know what I mean? And we're all
he's got all yayed up heads.
We're all massive fans. And he's like, what? Who are these like white guys from East Anglia in Norfolk? Kind of like, yeah. Because that was funny. Yeah. I mean, that was, again, great to do though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I just remember seeing LB and Harry on stage behind him because he mentioned the word cypher.
Yeah.
And suddenly they're on stage and I'm like, nah, what are they doing? So
that gig's funny.
Done my elbow.
That gig is funny for different reasons for me. One, when I was there, I saw someone taking little ones in the toilet before we went on, so I took one just before I hadn't done one of these for years. You know what I mean? Came up on stage. And just
the whole of music, I think pretty much the whole of music lessons apart from me.
Yeah,
we were all
fucked.
like, we was like,
we was fucked. Do you know what I mean? Done a lot of gigs, but I just remember what bad timing. Prepared myself all day. Do you know what I mean?
New threads on that.
And then just
pop a girl.
But one thing that did happen was there was a woman in the crowd who said to her friend, "Who's that?" Killing it in the grey Ralph Lauren. Funnily enough, I got a grey Ralph Lauren on now. And their friends like, oh, that's Ricky Licks. Do you know what I mean? So if it hadn't have been because of that gig, I wouldn't have met my daughter's mum and had my daughter. And so, you know, it's just some random...
Circles.
Big up Sam Finney, because he put that gig on, didn't he?
Big up Sam Finney.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? What's, out of all the gigs you've done, what's the, like... My one is Mobb Deep. We supported Mobb Deep. We've done loads. But what's your, like... Yeah, that one there was special, either because it was a special gig or because you was headline supporting someone like...
Supporting Coops was awesome. That was again at the Art Centre.
Yeah.
Been a fan of Coops for years, seen him a bunch of times, and then we supported him That was loads of fun. I feel like the set went really well. Just fully felt in my stride. You know, sometimes you can open for someone and think, how good of a fit are we? All that sort of thing. For that one, it just all went out the window because I, you know, listened to Coops for so long. I felt so comfortable being able to just be exactly myself on stage. That was loads of fun. Another one that comes to mind was one at Voodoo Daddy's, which was formerly the second Owl Sanctuary. So that room means a lot to me now. That was put on by Midsummer Events, and we were decided to be the headliner for some reason. And we were the headliner, and the room was really full. We tried out a lot of new material. We'd been sitting on a lot of more experimental stuff that we hadn't done live yet. We brought out at that gig because it was like, yeah, we're the headliner, fuck it, we do what we want. So that gig was really fun. The Herb Farm rave as well, that was really, really good. I'm not much of a raver.
Mate, that was just
The Herb
funny.
Farm rave.
Yeah, apparently it's a thing every year. I'm not a big raver or whatever, so I hadn't any idea of the significance of
Was
this
you
event.
Yeah, I get a phone call. I get a phone call from Streaks.
Yeah.
Bucky, I'm playing in Saffron Walden.
Big up
Saffron Walden,
Right,
you know,
and my
yeah.
wife's family are from Saffron Walden. I'm like, you're playing in Saffron Walden? Like, where? Like,
on a few
and then
acres.
he
And
sort of explains it to me. You know, it's Streaks. I'm like, oh my god, we're gonna
Yeah.
be rolling up to like a school fete or something. Do you know what I
dude,
mean?
this place was crazy. So there's like this dude who he's got a legal situation one way or another to grow buds for CBD or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
So he does that, gets his harvest in, and the rest of the year, I think his kid like got into raving and like big rig setups and all that. And the old man who owns the farm was basically like sort of the same mentality of like, you can do what you like, but if you do it at home so I can keep an eye on you.
Yeah.
He was sort of like, yeah, do that in our field so I can make sure you're safe.
Yeah,
And then
cool.
there's like the barn is decked out in like UV graffiti, and then
Yeah.
it's like blacklit. And
that
then we
sounds
was on
sick.
this like stage
Bro,
made of pallets
it was-
outside in the torrential rain.
Go on.
It was nuts.
Oh no, mate, it was this.
And I
It
want
was
the
a special.
XXX rated version.
It's a special kind of place that I turned up. I'm like, I've been raving for years. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, what the
Proper mud
fuck, like that, and people
Dude,
just
I
like.
wore Crocs to it and
Yeah,
came
yeah.
back with fucking trench foot.
You
No,
should
it was
know.
definitely a
It's
vibe,
crazy.
but there were some people there where
It's
you were
called
like,
trench
Jesus,
foot.
look at that guy. I was
You
like,
went with
what?
wellies.
MJ drove us as well. Like MJ's there with his Stony and that.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
And there's
That's
like
where we
people
met
coming
Ricky
up to him,
Worthless
like,
as well.
"Oh."
Hold tight, Ricky
Proper
Worthless.
funny.
Yeah, fucked.
Yeah, man. So that was a hell
That
of
was
an
good.
event.
Yeah,
that
it was a good vibe, bro.
That was mad. And then there was us the next day, like, because the hip hop sets were all sort of during the day, and then it got to like all the way from like drum and bass to jungle to jump up to just fucking gabba donk, and that was all in this like warehouse with corrugated metal walls, which is really great for vibrations when you're trying to go to sleep in a tent about
fuck.
20 foot away.
Yeah, no, you don't need that.
So we stayed up for a bit, we stayed up for a bit, and then well, we were feeling fragile the next morning, you know.
Yeah, no, I get the gist.
Our choice of
Things were done.
our
Sacrifices were made.
Yeah, sacrifices were made.
Holy water.
I got the fuck
I
out of
did not
Dodge,
have
bro. I was
relations.
like,
Yeah.
I was like, I'd done a few hours. I was like,
It got ceremonial.
Yeah,
this ain't for
sacrifices
me,
were
man.
made. I did
We're
not
only
have
an hour and a
relations
half
with
away
that
from
woman.
home. I think I was back in Norwich by 5.
You have decisions to make at these
Yeah, of
places
course.
because there's someone's going.
Yeah,
Do you know
so
what I
So
mean?
you guys were packed up to
If you
Tuesday
stay- if you
night
missed
because you
the
knew what
lift.
you were coming to, weren't
Yeah,
you? Like,
yeah.
If you miss that lift
Yeah, yeah.
and you
oh.
make it through the night,
That's the thing.
know
I
what I
was
mean?
I was the
Would
lift.
not have been able to make
I remember there being a point at Symmetry.
Oh, God.
I remember there being a point where there's a lift going home. I can go
Yeah.
Oh.
because it's the next day, or you can stay.
That's the point
and
of
I
no
stayed.
return.
I'm already on everything. And
Yeah,
then
yeah,
bam,
yeah.
just done a bomb at MD. There we go.
I ended up in RZ's
That's when I
car,
shoulda
listening to
went
Radio
home.
4.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
But nonetheless, so decisions were made. I did not have relations with that woman in the Oval Office type levels, and then so I was the lift, but I knew I'd be getting on it, so we was driving back the next morning, and through like all of that noise and then sleeping through like GABA translating its way to you through corrugated steel walls. And then Liu and I and Baker, we just sat in my car on the way home listening to the Blind Boy podcast, just trying to feel like human beings, and just driving home. I don't think a word got said that whole drive.
mate,
We were all just so fragile.
It's crazy when you go to
Like,
the mixed events in it as well, because like it's good, and then it's like when you at Symmetry, you go to the Psytrance section, be like, look at them not.
Wavelengths, do you know what I mean?
like-
Energy hitting each other from all different atoms and
It's kind of great to
angles
see,
and-
though, isn't it? But
Do you know what I mean? It's like Alice in Wonderland at some of these festivals. do you know
yeah,
what I mean?
literally.
It's like the more trippy they get, the more, you know?
Yeah, that was at least that. I don't know if it is every year, but that one was largely organised by Big Toes as well. That's who got us the gig. So
Yeah.
love to Big Toes as well. One of the lower sector lads.
Oh,
As I
there we
say,
go.
that's where we met Ricky Worthless as well, who we've since got in studio with his boy Prof. So yeah, that
yeah, I
was-
remember Ricky Worthless actually from
Once you've met
watching it.
Ricky Worthless, you cannot forget Ricky
Yeah,
Worthless. He is the it is
Has he got
Ricky
a high
Worthless's life.
self-esteem?
He's high energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it truly is Ricky Worthless's campaign in this game, and we are all NPCs in the world of Ricky Worthless.
yeah.
He is the central character.
What live stuff have you got coming up, if any?
The one that's locked in, definitely happening, not going anywhere, is not till August, but that's Wild Fields. So Wild Paths, which do the event through Norwich throughout all, like a festival, but throughout all the venues in Norwich, they're now having a stab at a whole festival in a field. So we're going to be covering that as press from Wordplay and then playing on the Saturday. There's a few other things sooner than that aren't as solidified, so I would hate to sort of speak on it and then it maybe not come through for one way or another. But you should see us as a big support slot in a Norwich date before long, and as a big support slot at a Southampton show before long.
Nice.
But as I say, because it's not in black and white locked in, I don't really want to be like, yeah, we're doing this. You get it?
Yeah.
But yeah, things are happening. I think once the album comes out as well, I definitely want to do a run of shows around that. It's a goal of mine for the year to play a few festivals and hopefully be someone's opening act on a tour.
Yeah.
Those are the main goals, and I really want to play New Cross in, because that's like
I could sort that out.
let's do it, let's roll. Because that's like a big deal in UK hardcore, and I know that a guy that puts on a few shows there is keen to get some hip hop acts through the door as well. Ideally, I'd love.
Is that Jugs?
No.
No.
Well, I don't know his real name. I just know the promotional company. That's what I've spoken to on Instagram.
What's that one?
Real Life.
Okay, no, not the same.
Um,
but I'm pretty sure my man books all the.
Let's tag
shows.
them and at them,
Okay,
Liu.
sick.
Let's make sure we get that.
But yeah, what I really want
Let's
is
make
a
that
split
link happen.
bill, Liu and I, another rapper or two, and some hardcore bands,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we'll do something crazy at New Cross. I really want that to happen this year.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, I 100% can sort that for you.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I think the city needs a Gangsta Hippy night. Do you know what I
I
mean?
completely
Oh,
agree.
mate, we're crying out to do something.
could not
aren't we?
agree more.
To be fair, Meezy's up for the music lessons for Union.
Yeah.
One, you know what I
Oh.
mean? For like, if we can get everyone
Would
together.
be mad, especially if you got like I'm talking Chef, Els,
yeah, LB,
Hannah.
yeah, the whole
Els,
crew.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
everyone.
If you got everyone that was,
I
that
think
would be-
actually, I think the first time I went Owl Sanctuary was the release show of Still Do Road by Els.
That was a
I
banging
remember
gig.
that night. I remember that night. I can't remember who's got some footage. I think Seb might have. Big
I
up
might have someone
Sumo.
on an old phone somewhere, you know.
But like, yeah, there's them elbow grease nights were mad. You know, what
It
I
was
mean?
funny
But-
because like 1 month it would be completely popping, and the next month it would be like not as good, and then the next one it would
yeah,
be
some
like,
of the nights were mad. You know, what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Especially the nights were like Els because he's bringing his whole crew.
Yeah.
And do you know what I mean? And it's like,
Oh, that reminds me actually to say, when you were mentioning Parky, there's something funny, and this is again just probably baiting myself out and losing UK hip hop points. That I was sort of going to these things before I'd really done my history and my homework of UK hip hop. I knew I
Right.
liked Stig of the Dump, I knew I liked Dr. Syntax, I knew I liked Jam Baxter, Dirty Dyke, all of that
you had
current
your
high
shit
focus
you fucked
Yeah.
with.
and I knew, you know, Chester P and all that, but I wasn't you know, as I hadn't done my homework, and I see this bill at like a venue in Norwich, and it was all very DIY punk put on by artists for artists, rah, rah, rah. And I thought Michael Parkinson was a local act.
Yeah.
I thought he was a Norwich boy who was one of Music Lessons crew who was getting on stage. It's not until like afterwards
legend.
that it's like,
Yeah, man,
oh, he's the guy.
Yeah.
Like shit.
He's such a
I
great performer
probably
as well,
like walked up to him as like a dreadlocked 18-year-old white boy being like, yeah man, you were sick, we should work together. Not knowing
Mate,
like,
Parky's always wanted
not
to work.
knowing the levels.
You can bam.
So if you remember that, I'm
Once you're
sorry,
in his
Parky.
mailing list,
You went to his mailing list,
do you know
bang,
what I
bang,
mean?
bang.
You're
Nah, big up Parky. He's been
we have
yeah, if you've
we
never
have
worked
some-
with Parky, you should definitely
It's
make that
happening.
happen as well.
We've already got-
if Leo will let you stay out for the night, that is.
now we've already got the beat as it goes. The song's not written or recorded yet, but we've got the beat from Parky,
Yeah,
and he's going to be putting a verse on it as well.
Yeah, dope.
So
I got
it's
some.
come
I
around.
got some unreleased music with Parky.
Nice.
Do you know what I mean? I got a few bits and bobs. I've got a few bits and bobs. We've got a few. Do you know what I mean? Without giving too much, we're now gonna
gonna
work
be
on
happening.
an EP. Do you know what I mean? We're
Yes,
now gonna
sir.
work on something. We're now gonna, the follow up from the Walrus.
Just all need to be on it. I think this year's the year.
Yeah. It's I don't know. There's something I don't like about the number 23.
Well, it's
yeah,
over now.
I like 24.
24 is all
There's
good,
something
isn't
about the number. Do you
Mark
know what I
Hoppus
mean?
said nobody likes you when you're 23. So
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something. There's the Jim Carrey film. You seen that?
23.
He's
Is
not
that the
in
one
it.
where he's got no memory and he tattoos stuff all over himself?
It's the number 23.
We
is
already
a
had a
curse,
thing
and-
about the number 23 before that film come out. Like my
was
friend
just
used to see it.
associated
every
with
Yeah,
week.
no, it's like 13. I don't know something about the 23.
Yeah, I always just associate it with Jordan, to be fair. Like,
Yeah. But
can't be
my
too
friend
bad
always
if he
used to
picked
see it, and we
you know?
always used to talk about it. And then that film came out, and we were like, "What?"
Yeah.
But apparently, it's a bigger thing, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
But we just thought it was in
There's
our
something
own
about
group. Like,
if you Google it, if you Google why is 23, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just a funny thing. But anyway, 24's got a nicer.
yeah, man.
But yeah, like we started going into earlier on. Like, obviously, I had a night booked as we went into COVID, and then I didn't. I've never done another night since before COVID. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? And then, well, we done the Gangsta Hippy thing, didn't we? Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, we done that was me with Harry, and
Yeah,
but we never
the-
done the
the
elbow
VR rings
grease
one.
thing again. And I seen like live music live music was already in a hard state anyway before COVID, weren't it? Do you know what I mean? Live music in general.
DIY live music certainly was. Yeah.
It's difficult though as well because when you're the promoter, it just you have to have money in your pocket. Do you know what I mean? You have to
Yeah.
have like week's wages in your pocket if you're trying to put on a really
Yeah.
good night. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone's got to get paid and stuff. That's the only thing that stops me like doing it because like I've lost quite a bit of money, but through the
Because
years.
your thing was fresh perspective, wasn't it?
Fresh perspective, yeah, and I just
That was
but when
that
you're
was-
booking acts, so you want to book a bigger act. Even the gig I put on in the summer that you guys paid, Parky and Jazz T, you got to pay them.
Yeah.
Fortunately that was all. I managed to get a bit of money back for that, and I didn't mind because they're my boys. Do you know what I mean? It's good to link with them anyway, but it was just like, oh yeah, this is why I don't.
I should have scored myself some brownie points and said that was my best gig of all time, shouldn't I?
Yeah, man. No,
That was
good.
a sick show as it
Yeah, it
goes.
was good. Oh, headphones. Yeah, it was good because it was like the rooftop at Gonzo's was a good venue actually for it. I thought.
Yeah. Nah, hopefully we can get something popping. Do you know what I mean? I'd like to bring someone down there and do a Gangsta Hippie night this year, even if it's just one. But maybe like bump heads with a few other people and let's do something this year. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah. So
We might have a lead on something as well that we'll get onto. We might have a lead on something as well that we'll get onto when we're not on camera, as it's again not solidified yet.
Yeah, because we've
But
already given them too much.
things are happening. Things are happening.
Yeah, and that's going to be a good. But you always seem happy and positive to me, Sleeps. Do you know what I mean?
I try my best, man,
You seem like a positive kind of person, or is that just I always seem to buck you on days when you're feeling good?
I like to be.
Or how do you
I'm-
stay positive like that?
I'm happy to be a part of this. I feel lucky to be, in the position I'm in. So I have a lot to be thankful for and a lot to be positive about. Don't get me wrong, I have my down days, as we all do. But it's something I try not to dwell on. Certainly when I do have my down days, it becomes all encompassing and it can be a very negative thing. Liu can attest that I'm no stranger to miserable songs, you know. Like, don't get me wrong, everyone's got that side. Everyone has their down days, everyone has their sort of struggles, but yeah, you can't let that define you too much, you know. I think it's important to stay as positive as you can, and bringing it back to Dan, you know, if he could be as optimistic as he was with everything he was facing, then the fuck excuse do I have to mope about the place, you know?
Yeah, just gratitude, innit? Do you know what I mean?
Of course, yeah. I've got too much to be thankful for to be a misery, you know?
Yeah. No, that's good that you've got that at such a young age, do you know what I mean? Life's tough, so, you know, I think gratitude's a big one, do you know what I mean?
Big time,
Before you let you know, get too down in the dumps.
And life just sort of goes quickly, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? So you've got to enjoy it.
Of course, yeah. It's too
and
short,
sometimes
man.
it's hard to see that, no doubt, but you know, you blink and suddenly you're like, whoa, I'm this old.
Yeah, very much so. I feel bad like agreeing with you when it's like, yeah, I'm 25.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is
like,
I feel 25 and I'm 36, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and then I know that like it'll be the same and I'll be 42.
Yeah,
sort of thing,
I think there must have been an elbow grease night. I blinked and then I'm here now.
Yeah.
You know?
That's how it happens. Met a lot of people there. Do you know what I mean? I remember someone spitting on the stairs. Like we used to, you know, the steps.
Oh,
the
the
house
step,
sanctuary. Do you know what I mean? He's like spitting on the
for
stairs.
some reason
someone spat on the stairs.
For some reason I was out of rap
That
lingo
happens every
brain for a second. I was like,
That's true, like. But nah, people used to.
That's very
I got a track called On
disrespectful.
the Steps, innit?
Yeah.
It's on the steps, and that was the steps outside the
We used
house.
to go and
sanctuary.
smoke.
But there was a guy.
Yes.
I'm not trying to heat no one up, but like he's now doing life or something. Do you know what I mean? You know, he's done some mad thing. Fucking something happened. Robbery went wrong, maybe, but like you know, people went off in different directions.
yeah.
But I'll just switch it up randomly. What's your favourite film?
Oh, probably Shawshank Redemption.
Okay, you had that armed and cocked. You knew
Yeah, that is.
It's funny because I've been asking people this question for
Shawshank-
the last couple of weeks.
Is it?
Probably-
Yeah, that's
great
in the
question.
air.
Probably Shawshank Redemption, mid-90s, directed by Jonah Hill, which is basically about this kid discovering skateboarding and falling in love with it, which I relate to massively. And Forrest Gump. I forgot how much I loved that film. And then I was back at my mum's over Christmas and I'd had a few and Forrest Gump came on the telly and it's like, you know, he runs back in the forest to get Bubba and I'm like, go on, Forrest.
I'm gonna be honest, bro. Once something switches in my head, I can't fuck with someone no more. Do you know what I mean? And like, it's the same as Michael Jackson, who I don't for 1 minute. Once I've got something in my head, I was like, I can't listen to his music no more.
Wait,
and with Tom Hanks,
is he a bad one?
who? Tom Hanks?
Yeah.
Oh no, we have to be careful what we say on YouTube. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, is this
But I
this flight log stuff?
Like I said, I ain't going to go into it. But all I'm saying is, I don't look at Tom Hanks. I used to love Tom Hanks.
Bro,
and now
he's Woody.
I've got it in my head. That, do you know what I mean? He's
Yeah.
dodgy, so I can't. Like, but
That's
yeah,
fair.
Forrest Gump.
I hope
What about you, Bucky? Have you got like, a favourite film that's comes straight to your mind? What?
Once Upon a Time in America.
Oh, that's a classic.
Yeah. I'm a big Mafia buff.
That's
So-
that's De Niro and all that,
De
isn't it?
Niro, yeah, Joe Pesci's in it, James Woods.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
from when they're kids,
3.5
isn't it?
hours long.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I love that. Anything that's over 3 hours, that's my kind of vibe.
Oh, I
Cinema.
start
I
getting
love all the
jitters about an
Scorsese
hour and a half
films.
in.
Godfather Part 1 and 2, but for me, I think Once Upon a Time in America is probably
Yeah.
just pips it for epicness.
Have you seen Your Honor
No.
with the guy out of Breaking Bad, the old guy?
Oh, geezer from Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's on Prime.
Oh, what's his bloody name?
Or what's the other one that comes through Prime, Paramount? Or anyway, it's not on Netflix and all that, but that's sick. You'd like that.
Alright.
But he's a judge, innit? And I'm not even gonna think it, but yeah, that's sick. Fuck him. Another one. Who's your favourite rapper of all time?
Oh my lord. God, that is so difficult. Can I give a
So
top?
you have one thing. You haven't got one that just goes boom.
No,
that's
I
my
haven't.
guy.
I haven't. No.
No matter who
As I
comes
say,
and goes, that's
it's
my
like,
guy.
The best I can give you is like hearing Stig of the Dump made me want to rap.
Yeah.
And in the current day, the person who influences how I write the most is Earl Sweatshirt.
Yeah.
That's probably the best I can
Okay.
give you.
Yeah, yeah.
What about you?
You know who it is. Tupac.
Tupac.
No matter who's come and gone over the years, Tupac hit me at a time when I was young where like I loved this guy.
Yeah.
And I always loved all his music, do you know what I mean? And other people have come and gone, but I've always been a Pac guy.
I've got to mention Mac Miller as well.
And one thing Pac had the emotion of a singer, do you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to be emotional as a rapper.
It is difficult.
It's a lot harder than a singer. A singer, you can hear
On
it.
that, what's your take on rap love
But
songs?
Tupac, he gave me that same emotion, do you know what I mean, as like an emotional singer. What's my what?
Your take on rap love songs?
Yeah, love
Yeah,
is
yeah.
a massive
As long as
part
they're
of
done
life.
well, yeah.
I find anything other than talking about love and women fucking weird. And that's maybe the reason why so many UK hip hop shows are fucking 99% blokes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got friends. Why have you made another tune about a bird? Do you know what I mean? But, bruv, like, it's the biggest part
You're
of
not
this
like
thing we're
thinking
doing.
about, I'll do one bird tune.
Yeah.
Three
I've
street
got
bangers.
my prison track, I've got my weed track, I've got my club track, I've got my sofa track, and I've got my chick track.
Weed
Yeah,
tracks
now,
kind
of
of
course,
got old
come
as
on,
well.
bruv. If anything, I respect people.
Yeah.
Especially if they're like talking some, and people know how the fuck I rap, do you know what I mean, over the years. I've put my life and soul and every fucking thing that's happened in my life. You'll hear that on a track, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I put it all out there, so relationship stuff, love, that has to go on there. That's that real. All your favorite songs are gonna be love songs, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like all them classic songs from back in the day, not hip hop, but in general.
Yeah.
Your Frank Sinatra's, your fucking. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's one, right?
Talking about women.
Off the top of the head, favourite song that's not rap?
Ooh.
My favourite song that's not rap.
Yeah.
You know what came to me? Bam! Straight away, House of the Rising Sun.
Nice.
That's
Nice.
I
something.
vibe Wichita Lineman.
What's that now?
Wichita Lineman, Glenn Campbell.
Okay,
I am a
yeah.
lineman for the county.
Right,
Just something
yeah.
about it. It's just fucking beautiful.
Mine goes straight to Love Really Hurts Without You, Billy Ocean.
Oh, yeah. So that's the thing with that question. It's like that does depend on the day.
It does, yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
What
could've-
you've
I
listened
could've-
to in the like.
I could have
Yeah.
just easily said anything off of Mudslide Slim by James Taylor as well.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
like that whole album.
We're talking the
but-
greats here now. I mean, we are talking.
Yeah, I mean, we've gone down that. We're talking the greats.
They don't make
now.
them like they used to.
Nah, but with regards to what you just said, what talking about love? Come on, bruv, like
Yeah.
jazz, R&B, Motown, all that back
Yeah.
then. Fucking like talking some love
But
shit.
In a
feel
way, I
like
don't
being
think, yeah,
real.
like you were saying, I don't think people rap enough about love.
All I'll say is this: is that like it was a good thing to talk about love and that vulnerability.
Yeah, completely.
Baby come back, or I'll do anything to get my love back, or crying on songs because they want their woman back.
I love you said baby come back and the You show's back up.
yeah, like, but I don't know, there's something like, there's a lot more derogatory songs nowadays. There's a lot more songs that like ain't got no respect for love. There's songs from women and men that are just like.
So do you think because the main narrative that I hear and why I asked the question is that a lot of people sort of think, right, it's a rap love song, it's automatically cheesy or whatever.
Yeah.
But do you think that the reason people sort of draw for considering it cheesy is because of a fear of the vulnerability it takes?
Bruv, when you're
Definitely.
talking, bruv, if you can make a song like, oh, then I'll be there for you if you keep it like, do you know what I mean? Method Man and Mary J.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
There's ways of doing it, do you know
I
what I
done
mean?
got
Yeah,
love
yeah.
for my wife. Like,
There's ways
just
of
literally
doing
a
it.
whole tune about how much. Do you know what I mean? I love my wife.
Depends who does it,
But
innit,
it's
and how
like
you
I
do
didn't.
it.
You know, I didn't think like, oh no, will people think it's cheesy? I'm like, nah, that's for Laura. Do you know what I mean? And I want people to hear.
Yeah, yeah.
You know. Yeah.
Like, yeah, nah, come on, bruv. Love is that loving a woman and what comes with it, like that has to be put into songs. Do you know what I mean? I've been too honest over the years in some of the stuff I've put out, like letting people know the nooks and crannies in my life, in my music. But that's my release.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I might talk about it when it's happening, or
It's like broader licks, bit broader.
yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like very specific. But nah. So yeah, I'm a Tupac guy, innit? Do you know what I mean?
Mine's Nas, without a doubt, I think.
For all time, yeah.
The greatest of all time,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's funny that I was never a big Nas fan.
But then I think
like,
what he's done recently as well, just
with Hit Boy and all
yeah,
that.
solidifies it. I love all
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I just love his lyricism. I think he's
I feel like being called Sleep's cousin and not saying Nas is my favourite rapper is probably a bad look, isn't it?
man. It's all good, isn't
I
it?
just it's funny watching how all that, like the Jay-Z, Snoop Dogg, Nas, how they've all grown. I was thinking the other day I would have loved to see Tupac, what he would have been like at this age.
Yeah.
Imagine being Tupac right now, looking at, do you know what I mean, the world and music, because I reckon he would have like just chilled out and been a nice.
It's like 50,
you know what I
isn't
mean?
it? Like I went to see 50 recently. And it was,
Recently.
yeah, I went to see the final lap tour,
Okay.
and it was banging, and he was brilliant. And he is just like, he's like getting out of rapping, isn't he? He's just like Instagram sort
see,
of like
my
wind up
favourite is-
merchant and TV mogul. Do you know what I mean?
My favourite is
Yeah.
the one from the Super Bowl halftime show, and he's fucking dangling
yeah.
upside down.
But
doing,
his
like,
show was
candy
like,
shot.
his show was crazy, and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
forget like quite how many hits and that he's got. Like
Yeah,
he was
it's-
bringing out tunes. You're like, oh yeah.
It's funny. Some of them old guys, they just still look the same and act the same. Do you know what I mean? You know, like your Redmans type
Yeah,
people, and even like your Snoop Dogg to a degree. Some people, they look like they've just had fun.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg, you see him on everything. You see
I feel
him,
like Snoop Dogg settled into getting older. The fact he's now his shoe deal is with
You will see
Skechers.
him on everything, on all different countries doing mad little adverts, and like he's just everywhere.
Have you heard any of his? I don't know what the genre's called, but like Bollywood music, like Snoop Dogg stuff.
Nah, I remember the reggae album.
Yeah,
Snoop
we
Lion.
we don't worry about that.
Snoop Lion.
Snoop Lion, bro.
Yeah, that didn't go down well.
Yeah, we don't worry
Why
about
not
that.
though?
But,
You know, how many albums has Snoop
yeah,
Dogg
yeah.
done? Like,
Yeah,
you think
yeah.
about all the mixtapes,
So-
and everything. Might as well have a go at the reggae.
I would hate to see Snoop go. I'd hate for them to have some mad dirt. You see what they've just done to Diddy, and like different, but
Awful time for gigs to become friends with
What-
Diddy.
yeah, that's what we
what
thought.
Kanye done was different to what Diddy done. Diddy's
Yeah.
got an old past of doing mad sexual,
Yeah, I think
all that assaults, and
Kanye's also
was
a very-
things that were coming out of his mouth. Do you
He's a
know what I
very
mean?
unstable man. I
But at
think
the same
he
time,
needs
when
a
they
lot
wanna
of
cancel you,
support
bruv,
instead
like-
of
Yeah,
being told off, you know.
it's all pretty grisly though.
Yeah, imagine them doing that to Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Imagine them just taking down like this multi-billionaire.
But then people that just know they're clean, it's like that's why 50's been trolling Diddy so hard because he's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you ain't got shit on me, bro.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
ain't done nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because he wouldn't be able to be out there so publicly slating him if he knew they had it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he just seems to have a way of just winding up anyone he comes. Not anyone, but if he chooses to pick on you, 50 Cent is not the guy you want to mess with.
well, he's a fucking 48 Laws of Power. You read the 48 Laws of Power. You
He's
know, what I mean? You've
also
heard of that
just
book, innit?
hilarious.
I
Yeah, I've
haven't
heard of
as
the
it
book.
goes,
Yeah.
No,
You've never heard the 48 Laws of Power,
enlighten me.
but there's
I can just about read.
anyone who
so
knows 48 Laws
if
of
you wanna
Power.
tell me
So
about
48
it,
Laws of Power is like a book that, do you know what I mean, I first read in jail. You could tell sometimes you could tell when someone's read the book, do you know what I mean? But it's a very manipulative art of war type book, especially business situations and da-da-da. But they'd give a law. Say for instance, never outshine the master.
Right. Okay. So
Yeah,
it's always like a rules
there's
to live your life
law.
by.
So one like never outshine the master, for instance. Do you know what I mean? But then in each law, it's a big book. So each law they're going in on examples of things that's happened in history or in war or stuff like that, where someone has outshined the master.
And it doesn't go
There's
well.
very basic human things that we all do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And especially when you're in power, trying to gain back, like just all different things that humans have always done. So anyway, imagine finding this book and just falling in love with this book, and it's the sickest book ever. Fucking Dan Green, 48 Laws of Power, The Art of Seduction, da 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 da. And then my mate goes, have you heard of the 50th law? I'm like, what's that?
Is that like the 37th chamber?
He's like 50 Cent linked up with the author and they done a book together. I'm like, what?
Hang on.
Bam. So then I was reading this book. So it's all the same laws, but 50's giving examples of when he was in the streets and then when he got into the music industry and how he applied these laws of power.
Right,
Do you know what I
okay.
That's why
mean?
Tony Ayo's Drink Champs was such a good interview because you get the insight from
Yeah.
Yayo's point of view.
But what you're saying about what he's done to Diddy and he's relentless, one of the laws you can see 50 doing is crush your enemy. Do you know what I mean? And then I'll give an example of when the Japanese emperor or whatever didn't crush his enemy when he had the chance, and he had mercy and didn't kill him.
Yeah.
And then guess who comes back in 10 years of his army and kills you?
Yeah,
Right.
So like
Okay.
examples of like crush your enemy, because if not they'll come back and so like that's why I see that being 50 relentless.
Did you ever
What he done to Ja Rule? Do you know what I mean?
did you
It was
ever read-
relentless for years?
Did you ever read the Desiderata?
Bro, I've got a song called The Desiderata. What you on about?
Of course you. Yeah. Okay.
Come
cool.
on, bro. Me and DPF, big up DPF.
You can pick up DPS.
That's-
We've got a song
that's
called
my-
Desiderata on our project we just put out.
That's my 48 laws, 48
Yeah, yeah.
rules. That was always up around my parents' house
Yeah.
because Desiderata. I'm sure you already know this, but for the folks at home, it means something that is wanted or desired.
Yeah.
It's like 12. It's sort of like 12 rules to live your life by.
Yeah.
I'm telling you this like you don't know, but you know context and that. But it was always up around my parents' house, and it was sort of like, yeah, if you follow these 12 rules, you can try your best to work towards a happy life, you know?
Yeah.
And the one that I stick with the most, and I think this relates back to you saying about I seem like a pretty chill guy and all that, is to move placidly amidst the noise and haste.
Mike Bassett, England football manager.
And it's goes on to say something about for like harsh or troublesome voices
Yeah.
to pay no mind to,
Kipling,
and
innit?
things like that. There's
Yeah, yeah.
there's a number of other ones. I can't quote it word for word as I've demonstrated, but that for me, that's my my rules to live life by.
Yeah.
If you could walk with kings and never lose the common touch.
Because that's the thing. Some of my favourite books are like, you know, about the Prince Machiavelli,
Yeah.
Sun Tzu, Miyamoto Musashi, do you know what I mean? Like Art of War type book, like going against people. But these 48 Laws of Power type books, Art of Seduction, there's loads of them, do you know what I mean? There's books that like you can tell that all the world leaders, they read these books, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the Machiavelli one and all that. But so with the current state of affairs and you know England as it is and everything, the cost of living and all that type of stuff, if you had a magic wand and you could say bam, this person's our prime minister, who would it be?
Oh, big nasty.
Big nasty for prime minister, yeah.
Honestly, I don't have.
That's a good enough answer.
Yeah,
as
I feel like
anything.
that's a good
Buckers the
answer.
realist.
I really don't know.
Buckers the
Buckers
realist.
for come on, Buckers for prime minister.
Ultimately, I don't know who can save us at this point. We might need a second coming or something, but
Yeah, just a...
but I think, you know, if we're like, ladies and gentlemen of the United Kingdom, bass. Like, I think that's all we need. We just
Yeah.
need a little bit of bass to carry us through.
You know who I would have right now? Attenborough.
yeah?
David. Yeah, it'd have to have some people sorting out the money side of things.
I
but I think in
love
terms
David
of
Attenborough,
like,
but I almost
if every country was ruled by someone who loved the earth like that, do you know what I mean?
But I almost feel with Attenborough, we don't want another Sleepy Joe sort of situation, you know?
Yeah,
I feel
yeah,
like
yeah,
like the it's kind of it's such a stoner clever thing to say, but it's a myth to me that most people are meant to stop working by the age of 65, 70, and it's people of that age bracket that are pretty much exclusively running the shit.
yeah.
Something about that seems a bit iffy. You know, I think we need some younger blood in there.
Well, yeah, it's kind of that thing. Anyone who wants to be
So
a
I think-
politician, you sort of got to like worry about.
So I think Big Nasty is old enough to have a bit of wisdom, but young enough to know what's going on.
Imagine like a world where it weren't how much money you had, but how much love you had and
How you look after your fellow
do you know
human
what I
being.
mean? There was a gauge that they could think, boom, this person's got so much love, and all the country. Imagine how much of a different world it would be.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Instead of like half the world's leaders are psychopaths.
Literally.
Fucking, imagine the world.
All
we
went
could
to the
live
same school. Were all boys from younger. Like they've all been mates since they were in puberty. They've all got dirt on each other, like the pig's head thing with Cameron or whatever. You know, like.
See, that's what I was trying to get at. That's why I was bringing up.
Fucking pig, bro.
Draw straight for the pig.
Yeah, come
Do you
on.
remember? Do you remember the King Blues?
Yeah.
With Itch and that, and they had that song where they came back, and it was all just people in David Cameron masks and like pig masks getting off in the video. It was crazy.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
another
I
one that
met the
doesn't
King
get
Blues.
mentioned enough.
They're
The King
dodgy,
Blues
bro.
were an integral part of me learning how to write songs for sure. Itch is one of the greatest lyricists the UK has ever seen. It's the fucking guy.
What? You've got a passion for music in life, other than music. What's something you're highly passionate about?
I love skateboarding. Skateboarding shaped me as a person. Absolutely love that. Most of my mates as a kid were a bit older than me, so I've sort of feel like I not grew up quick. I definitely had the I guess we'll say privileges of a child to not be faced with the gritty side of the world super young. But because my friends were that bit older, I feel like I was able to sort of hit the ground running with those kind of things. So
Yeah.
skateboarding, I definitely owe my life to skateboarding.
Do you still do that?
Since the break, I've skated enough to prove to myself I still can, but like I'll do a little bit, but mainly now, like I say, with like having a few cans and watching the uploads on the Thrasher YouTube channel, I'm like an old man who swears he had trials at West Ham. You know, I'll watch skate videos and be like, oh, I used to be able to do that back in my day. So yeah,
I think I saw a thing with Pharrell where he's talking about it, and I definitely agree, because I used to skateboard when I was a kid. Once you have skateboarded and you have that sort of like mentality and there's a camaraderie in it, you
as
sort
a
of take
kid,
it with you, you don't lose it.
as a kid, it definitely taught me how to speak to people, how to make friends, how to come out
Yeah.
of your comfort zone. Because we all had skate park friends, didn't we? And these were people that you wouldn't see outside of the skate park, but when you're at the park together, you're bros, you know? Like there's my guy Steve from Lynn, Steve Yates, I've not seen, I think, since the break. Skate park friend through and through, never hung out with him outside of the skate park. When I broke my leg, he sat cross-legged on the floor so I could put my leg on his lap to keep it elevated until the ambulance came. That's bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've not seen the guy since.
Call the ambulance.
I'm-
James was shot.
But like, I've not seen the
Yeah,
guy
word.
since. I may never see the guy again. Because I'm not at the skate parks like I used to be. But like that was such a bro move that you know what I mean. Skateboarding is that beautiful thing to me that I love as
passion,
much as
bro,
I love
come on.
music.
Well, I want to speak about your merch game as well.
Yeah.
Because he's got strong merch game.
Come on, then why are we not talking about that?
Yeah. So we got some. Always got the fly new merch on the go. I take it.
Yeah, man. So we've the one that I know you'll be referencing is the Spider Baby from Toy Story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always been sort of, we carry ourselves sort of how a DIY punk band would.
Yeah.
So, you know, Liu makes the beats, I write the lyrics. Between us, one of us will make the album cover or the single cover. Liu will edit the videos. It's all completely
Because
in-house
that's the thing about
DIY.
Leo, he could do everything.
He can, he's
Yeah.
the guy.
He's a
He's
genius. I'm just waiting for him to drop an album rapping like the new Alchemist
bro,
shit.
when
whoa.
Liu starts rapping, we're all out the job.
Yeah.
This
That's coming,
this
Liu.
dude can turn his hand to something so
that's coming.
quick that
He
you'll
can
be
do
in
everything,
awe.
do you know
I
what I
remember
mean?
once we were doing the video for Tinfoil Diamonds, and it was like, yeah, we want to use a tape camera for this. And he's like, okay, so I have to get this thing called OBS to run the camera through, and I'll try and get the footage off and all that. Within like half an hour, dude had it locked.
Yeah.
You know, that might be a silly example, but the way that Liu can like pick things up, learn them, and be a master at it within no time is something that I absolutely admire. And Liu is the goat. Liu is my big brother. Love to Liu.
Big up to Leo. Fucking, have you ever read the Bible?
Not cover to cover, but I am very much into. I like to know as much as I can about the books of all religions, really. But I do enjoy the
You
Bible.
like to Noah a
Nah.
lot.
He's a Noah.
back when I was in Lynn, I was on first name terms with a lot of the Jehovah's Witnesses that would go about, just because I like chatting to them. It's kind of in my blood, because my old man is the only person I'm aware of that Jehovah's Witnesses knocked on the door. He let them in for a conversation, and he was talking to them for so long that they were trying to make excuses to leave.
I thought he was going to say he converted them
Yeah, he converted them to the Cockney way of life.
to thrash metal.
Yeah, but no, I think religion is a very interesting thing. I think you can pick your battles with what to take away from it and what is going to influence you. Because I think if you go word for word in any book, you're going to be led astray in one way or another. But I do think that there's a lot of life lessons and interesting stories of just the conquering of good and evil.
Yeah,
and stuff
that's what I was going to say. Because without going too deep into religion, that's what I always like to know if someone's read the Bible.
Also,
because it's the most read book.
I got absolved of my sins by a guy in a night tech and a do-rag once.
Yeah,
that was cool. So as I say, I was in Kings Lynn, and because
I didn't realise many people wore do-rags in Kings Lynn.
Yeah, bro. So at my old job, it was like a supported living house, and I would take the guys for like day trips to get their shopping and things like that. And we'd often go into town on a Wednesday, and every Wednesday the Jehovah's Witnesses went around Lynn. And there was this dude who I assume is the leader, because he was the oldest, had the biggest beard and the biggest sandwich board.
And the biggest
so
beads around his neck.
Yeah. So I assume he was the leader, and he was really nice. He was always really good with the residents, because that's one thing that can gripe me with the more extreme branches of Christianity, like Jehovah's Witnesses and stuff, where they think that these people are the way they are as almost like a punishment for sins and stuff like that. And
but big up
that's
everyone.
Disgusting. I don't
and big
like
up
that.
them. Big up the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah, big
for
up
what they're
them.
doing.
But like,
that's just a whole other thing.
Of course, but like the way that he would level with these people and didn't have that attitude of, oh, you're this way in penance for something.
Yeah.
But he was great. But then there was this guy, Joni, who was 21, Nike Tech, do-rag, Jordans, flyest Jehovah's Witness you've ever seen in your life. And I was in town with a guy I used to support called Michael, who was a great guy. And I got talking to Joni, and he was going through a bit of the spiel, and he was like, have you ever sinned, my brother? And I was like, fucking, how long have you got, bruv?
Yeah.
You know?
Every day.
Yeah. And he was like, if you join me in prayer, I can absolve you of your sins. And I was like, yeah. All right, nice one. Let's do it. Like
holy water.
Yeah. And so he goes through this sort of ritual with me outside JD Sports, I might add. So like hand in hand, we join in this prayer. And then he goes, right, you're absolved of all your sins. You're now a soldier in Jesus' army. Are you ready to go over the top of the trenches and fight the devil? Oh, fucking yeah. I've never been more ready for anything in my life, bruv. Let's go.
Yeah.
So on the off chance that Joni, the witness from Lynn, is watching, I haven't forgotten you, bro. Love.
Lord of the Dance. Do you know what I mean? We brought it right back.
Yeah, man.
Before we wrap, it is a sick book. Do you know what I mean? I didn't realise until I actually started reading it. Like, you got the different parts of it. Do you know what I mean? You got the Psalms. You got the Revelation. Do you know what I mean? Revelation is a sick little story in itself.
I also really
do you know what I
enjoy
mean?
like all of like Paradise Lost and what is it? Dante's Paradiso, Dante's Purgatorio, and Dante's Inferno.
That's what I got an album.
And
I've got an album,
and
Dante,
Paradise Lost and all those. It's funny to me how Paradise Lost is almost like Christian fan fiction. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's quite interesting, because I love how the author of that, I think he's an Italian guy, and he was like if I remember rightly, I might be butchering this, but was like exiled from his town for having like some ideas that weren't cool in the eyes of them. Yeah. So throughout the book of Paradise Lost, he just takes little jabs at the town he's from in Italy, and that's so petty, and I absolutely love it. He'll be like halfway through talking about the fourth ring of hell, or the greyhounds chasing the wolves away, and they'll be like, by the way, fuck this specific town in Italy. It's jokes.
Yeah, that's funny. But yeah, so I reckon we should wrap things up soon. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I definitely want to say big up Harry Ixer.
Love to Harry
big up
Ixer
Harry.
You know
every
what I mean?
time.
Hopefully we'll see you soon when you're back, and then you can, do you know what I mean? I've got a few people in mind that I want to bring on the show, and I want to start making these things regular again. Do you know what I mean? And I'd like to have you on as a guest.
I mentioned him earlier.
I'd love to get as many music lessons and do one of them.
I mentioned him earlier. please get Grotty White and Simeon in for an episode.
Yeah.
Because that will be the funniest episode you ever put
Yeah,
up.
do you know what I mean? Let's do it. Let's make it happen. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, big up Ixa. Big up yourself for passing through.
Thank you for having me, man.
I hope you have a good year in general, in life, and
thank you.
musically.
And
do you know what I mean?
while I'm here, thank you both for, giving me the leg ups when I was new to this to get in the position I am now. Because
No doubt, bro.
I certainly, I don't think I'd be in this sofa right now if it wasn't for meeting you guys when I met you guys and the opportunities you gave me. So thank you very much for
we
that.
all just walk in each other's directions, and then, do you know what I mean? But yeah, it was timing. Timing is key. Same with everything. But yeah, look forward to seeing you live again at some point.
And you, man, we've
hopefully
got to do a
putting
show together
something on.
before long.
Yeah, and we've got our thing, and you got your thing that'll be out with Liu soon. Do you
Yeah,
know what I
man.
mean? But yeah, big up, and let's do this again soon.
3s, 7s, circles, 151 till infinity. The horse is dead. If you can't notice the cycles, you aren't looking close enough.
There you go.
Big
There you
up.
go. Peace.
Peace.
Top button when it's formal, I've been abnormal, shedding blood and tears like mere mortals. I'm passionate, I am being forceful. The good chaotic but the evil lawful and fairly necessary. Laceration to the head and belly, looking to the light but behind the eyes he's dead already. Merry melody, deadly memories. Took my foot off their neck for a sec, yeah I let them breathe, forever sleep. If I'm remembered then I'll live forever. Bullet catching on my pen and teller, spread the heather. All these friends around me in this fair weather. In this robe I'm an emperor at the feet of this giantess with lungs full of lion's breath. It's all connected like fiber tech, colliding like fighter jets. I feel my skin peeling but I don't feel enlightened yet. Bloom. 5 times around the circle. I hope I got a few more in me. I try and cycle through the yugas. Divine times end quickly. Hoods up, nights drawing in. Working out the kinks with a rolling pin. Symbiote with a soulless grin. Keep some pennies for the ferry so you never sell your soul to him. Storm the gates and overthrow the king. Wage war to feel the weight of stones that you throw at him. The thought of circles personalised emotions in a loving way and make you wanna lay back and go with it. If I ain't going in, I'm going home. 8 blood types from a dozen stones. Tighten up the smile lines while the sun erodes and turn the force of presence from before to another ghost. I just hope the cycle repeats for me. Unfinished business in common decency. And if I'm free, then I'm free to bleed. But these lacerations still won't make a beast of me. Bloom. 5 times around the circle. I hope I got a few more in me. I try and cycle through the yugas. Divine times end quickly.
Gangsta Hippy Podcast.